Chapter 32-33. His name is Linwoody. He should be near the fallen star. Go and find him. After Yen Nantian finished speaking, he turned around and soared into the sky. He smiled coldly. Lin Xian, let's see how you're going to die this time. Soon, Yen Nantian disappeared into the flames. Below them, the person bound by the flaming chains, Ing, began to tremble. Lin Wudy, the successor of the 9 sons, I'm going to tear you apart. He roared, and the flames around him were blown away, forming a vacuum. The flames on his body also gradually faded, replaced by a pitch-black color. However, at this moment, the 4 flame chains binding his body began to tremble. They wanted to firmly suppress him. I'm the only one in the world. Open. With a cold shout, a monstrous demonic aura broke the 4 flame chains. All the flames were extinguished and replaced by endless demonic aura. A man with demonic runes all over his body floated in the void. His demonic aura was monstrous and his eyes were cold. The 9 sons had appeared, and the great demon was about to appear. I'm the great demon. With a roar, the demonic aura turned into a pair of demonic wings and tore the void apart. The fallen star fell into the abyss. At this time, most of the elites had left, but there were still a few figures lingering. One of them was the Qi family's patriarch. The Qi family's patriarch was covered in blood and injuries. His face was pale, but he was excited because he had finally received an invitation to the abyss. Great! With this, I can enter the fallen star abyss below. The Qi family's patriarch was extremely excited. There were also a few half-saints around him. The Luo family's rat was also here, but Jin Yuanzi and Xiao Wu had already left. The Qi family's patriarch's eyes flashed as he stared below. He was waiting. As long as the people inside came out, he could enter. They didn't know that at this time, outside the fallen star, a man covered in demonic aura was quickly descending. The astral winds that filled the sky hit his body, making clanging sounds. The demonic aura turned into demonic dragons, roaring in all directions and tearing all the astral winds apart. Soon, the great demon arrived at the fallen star. Buzz! She looked into the distance, her eyes red. She flapped her wings and flew quickly toward the fallen star abyss. At the same time, a figure rushed up from the bottom of the abyss. When the Qi family patriarch saw this, his lips curled into a smile as he hurriedly handed over the invitation letter. Then his body swayed, and he fell into the abyss below. As soon as he entered, the Luo family's ancestor and the others frowned. The next moment, they turned their heads and looked into the distance. From afar, a figure could be seen rushing over. The figure flew very quickly. At first, it was still far away, but in the next second, it was right in front of them. It was accompanied by a monstrous demonic aura. So terrifying. Who was this person? The pupils of the Luo family patriarch and the other half-step saints shrank. The aura of the other party was simply too terrifying. Moreover, the monstrous demonic aura made their hair stand on end. After the great demon arrived, he didn't care about the people around him. Instead, he looked at the huge stone tablet in front of him. He saw a purple name on the first row of the stone tablet. It was Lin Xian's name. He withdrew his gaze and asked coldly, "Who knows Lin Wudy? Who knows where he is now?" Lin Wudy. They were here for Lin Wudy. The pupils of the surrounding half-step saints shrank. Lin Wudy was now number 1 on the leaderboard. His strength made them tremble. Therefore, no one dared to speak rashly. Moreover, they didn't know where Lin Xian was. The Luo family patriarch frowned. "You're looking for Lin Wudy. You know." The great demon lowered his head and looked at the Luo family patriarch. The Luo family patriarch narrowed his eyes and said, "Who are you? Is it appropriate to look for Lin Wudy?" Buzz! As soon as he finished speaking, he screamed and dodged quickly to the side. A pitch-black, demonic hand grabbed at him, instantly grabbing the space he was standing in. "What are you doing? How dare you attack me? The Luo family patriarch's face darkened. He didn't expect that the other party would attack him. The great demon revealed a sinister smile. Since you know Lin Wuti, things will be easy. I'll capture you and take your soul. Then I'll naturally know everything I want. The surrounding half-step saints felt their scalps go numb. Who is this person? He's too arrogant. He wants to search my soul just to get some information. Isn't this too overbearing? The Luo family patriarch's face darkened. How dare you attack me? Do you know who I am? My big brother is nearby. I advise you to get lost quickly. Otherwise, if you anger me, I'll kill you. You'll be suppressed here forever. Suppress me? The great demon roared at the sky. You don't have the right to do that. And I hate it when people suppress me. He had just come out from the seal. How could he not be angry when he heard this word? In the next moment, demonic energy filled the sky, covering the entire sky. Damn it, I'll fight it out with you. The Luo family patriarch gritted his teeth in anger. Terrifying lightning appeared on his body, and countless law fragments danced, forming a pair of lightning wings. In an instant, he flew up quickly. A lightning blade appeared in his hand, and he slashed forward. Die! With a slash, the void trembled, and the mountains and rivers shattered. You overestimate yourself. The great demon punched out, and boundless demonic energy shook. Boom! With a punch, countless voids collapsed and shattered. The Luo family patriarch's body was torn into pieces. Ah! With a scream, a soul floated out, trying to reassemble. However, in the next moment, his body turned into a bloody mist, and his soul was grabbed by a pitch-black palm. The great demon's cold voice sounded. Soul search. His eyes were pitch-black, like two black suns that emitted a demonic light. The Luo family patriarch's soul screamed crazily. Not long after, the screams disappeared, and the boundless demonic energy in the surroundings also dissipated. The great demon stood in the void, holding the translucent soul in his hand. With a gentle squeeze, the soul was destroyed. The surrounding half-saints trembled, and their faces were filled with fear. Dead. The Luo family patriarch was killed by the other party with a raise of his hand. Heavens, what kind of person is this? Demon King, this is the real demon. He destroyed the soul of a person without saying a word. That's too cruel. In an instant, many half-saints retreated, wanting to escape. Did I say you could leave? The great demon snorted, and 36 demonic pillars appeared around him. They pierced through the sky and formed a cage, trapping all the half-saints. When the half-saints who wanted to escape saw this, they immediately increased their speed. They tore through the void, wanting to leave this place. How dare mere ants try to escape from me? The great demon stretched out his palm, and boundless black, demonic energy rolled. Suddenly, screams could be heard in the void. Chapter 30-34. The 3 escaping half-saints were pierced through by the 3 demonic swords and nailed to the ground. Then, the great demon grabbed their souls and swallowed them. Plop, plop. The remaining half-saints knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. It was too terrifying. He was simply a demon king. He was a heaven-defying existence. Killing half-saints like them was as easy as blowing off dust. I can give you a chance to live as long as you tell me. Where is Lin Wuti? The great demon said after swallowing the souls of the 3 half-saints. We don't know where Lin Wuti is, but we know the people related to him. One of the half-step saints answered. The chief family patriarch had a good relationship with Lin Wuti. He was currently in the abyss below, participating in a trial. In addition, the White Crane clan and the successor of the great emperor, Yan Nantian, had a conflict with Lin Xian. We don't know anything else. One of them was below, participating in a trial. The great demon glanced at the abyss below. Then a cold light flashed in his eyes. Yanantian? He snorted coldly. The White Crane clan. He looked up at the sky. The boundless, demonic clouds were rapidly expanding. They rushed in all directions. The next moment, his lips curled into a smile. They were still on the fallen star. After finding the whereabouts of the White Crane clan, the great demon smiled coldly. Demon swallows the world. The demonic blood on his body surged into the sky, turning into several demons that bit in all directions. Damn it, you went back on your word. You said you would let us go. The surrounding half-saints screamed crazily. You are not qualified to negotiate with me. The great demon sneered. I just woke up and am very weak. I still need to recover. So, you will become my food. The boundless demonic aura swallowed the half-saints. Ah! The half-saints screamed miserably. It was too terrifying. The great demon was too powerful. The half-saints tried their best to resist, but there was nothing they could do. In a single move, they were all killed. Their souls were devoured by the great demon god. Even their flesh and blood were sucked dry. The great demon was surrounded by a bloody light. The demonic aura on his body was even more monstrous. He stomped his foot and tore through the void, charging toward the White Crane clan. The people of the White Crane clan had indeed not left the falling star. They were still here because they wanted to join forces with some experts to kill Lin Xian. There was no other way. They had already become enemies with Lin Xian, and Lin Xian was so powerful. More importantly, the other party's talent was too terrifying. The other party was so young, yet he had already reached the top of the rankings. If he was allowed to continue growing, his future would be limitless. At that time, if the other party remembered their White Crane clan would probably be annihilated. They would not allow such a danger to exist. Therefore, the White Crane clan decided to take action in advance. Although the other party was now powerful and ranked first on the rankings, he was not an invincible existence. Although it was troublesome to kill such a person, it was still doable. Originally, they had wanted to contact Yen Nantian. However, Yen Nantian had already left. They had no way of contacting him. Therefore, they used the teleportation portal to summon the half-saints of their families and brought along their magical treasures to assassinate the other party. Wang. The void shattered as countless Dao runes filled the air. Two figures walked out of the array. The aura of these two people was extremely powerful. Among the half-saints, they were also extremely terrifying existences. The surrounding Dao runes slowly dissipated. The people of the White Crane clan heaved a sigh of relief. Such teleportation portals that could cross worlds were the means of saints. They were all engraved with Dao runes. Every time they were activated, they would consume a large amount of resources. Even though the White Crane clan was powerful, it was still very painful for them. However, in order to kill Lin Xian, they could not care less. Two guardians, you're finally here. Seeing two powerful half-saints, the people of the White Crane clan were extremely excited. Yes, the two guardians of the White Crane clan nodded slightly. They had already heard about the general situation. Therefore, this time they were here to kill. Their bodies were filled with biting, cold-killing intent. However, in the next moment, the two guardians frowned and looked up at the sky. Their expressions were extremely solemn. This aura. They were too shocked. The other White Crane clan geniuses and half-saints also felt it. Immediately they screamed. Damn it, what a terrifying aura. Could it be that Lin Wuti had come to kill them? Damn it, fight him to the death. This kid really did not know what was good for him. There was no door to hell, but he barged in. Since that was the case, then don't blame us for being heartless. These people of the White Crane clan revealed sinister smiles. However, in the next moment, they were stunned. They discovered that it was not Lin Wuti. They had seen Lin Wuti's law divine ability before. It was a biting cold sword intent and terrifying flames. But the scene in front of them was not. Demonic aura, monstrous demonic aura rolled over, instantly enveloping heaven and earth in all directions. They felt the pressure between heaven and earth, about to crush them. It was not Linwoody, but someone else? These people instantly frowned. Who is it to actually dare to attack our White Crane clan? Get out here. You really don't know what's good for you. Humph, we have 2 guardians. No matter who comes, we can kill him. The White Crane clan's genius sneered. At this moment, the left guardian's eyes erupted with a biting cold light. He reached out a large pale hand, carrying feathers that filled the sky, and directly grabbed at the void. In an instant, they smashed a large hole in the void. Found you! The large white hand carried the power of law and could crush everything. Even if it was a half-saint, he was confident that he could seriously injure or even kill him. However, in the next moment, the left guardian of the White Crane clan screamed. His arm was broken, and blood dripped from the half-saint. White feathers drifted down from the sky. Damn it! The left guardian gritted his teeth, and power surged through his body to stop his wound. His eyes were wide open as he stared at the black hole in the sky. Damn it, who are you? The other White Crane clan's geniuses and powerhouses were also stunned. Heavens, what did they see? The left guardian was actually injured. The left protector was extremely powerful. Very few half-saints were a match for him. They believed that even Linwoody couldn't defeat their left protector. But now the left guardian was actually injured. It was obvious that there was a terrifying enemy inside the black hole. In the sky, the black hole rotated and the void shattered. A pitch-black figure walked out. It was the Great Demon. He looked down, and the corners of his mouth curled up. The White Crane clan, seeing the Great Demon's figure, these people were on guard. The 2 guardians' pupils constricted. What a terrifying demonic aura. The aura on the other party's body almost made their blood freeze. Who are you? The 2 guardians asked coldly. The Great Demon did not answer. Instead, he asked coldly, Do you know where Linwoody is? Chapter 32-35. Hearing the name Linwoody, the people of the White Crane race were stunned. The other party was also looking for Linwoody. What's your relationship with Linwoody? The White Crane race's prodigy shouted coldly. Naturally, they were here to kill him. The Great Demon's murderous aura surged. That's great. The people of the White Crane race were overjoyed. Linwoody, you really deserve to die. I didn't expect that not only did we want to kill you, but there was also such a powerful person who wanted to kill you. Let's see how you escape this time. The people of the White Crane race were too excited. That's great. We're also here to kill Linwoody. Why don't we join forces? An elder of the White Crane race stood out. In his opinion, both sides could definitely kill the other party easily if they joined forces. Join forces with you? A look of disdain appeared in the Great Demon's eyes. You guys probably aren't qualified. Tell me Linwoody's whereabouts, and I'll give you guys a quick death. Arrogant, the other party was too arrogant. The other party wanted to get information from them and even wanted to kill all of them. They were simply too much. They overestimated themselves. The right protector snorted coldly and stood out. The left protector also attacked. The aura on their bodies suddenly erupted, and the nomological fragments turned into a tornado that swept forward. Behind them, the prodigy of the White Crane race revealed a cold smile. With the 2 protectors attacking, the other party was definitely dead. Previously, the left protector was injured because of carelessness. Now that they attacked with their full strength, the other party definitely couldn't block it. How powerful were the 2 protectors? With a punch, they illuminated the sky and pierced through the void in all directions. The surrounding demonic chi was shattered. Since you guys are courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. The Great Demon laughed sinisterly, his black hair fluttering, and the demonic chi on his body was like a dragon. With just the 2 of you, you dare to attack me? With a long roar, the entire place was completely broken open. There was terrifying demonic chi everywhere, as if it was the end of the world. The void within 1,000,000 miles shattered. Puff! The two protectors vomited blood and flew out. The nomological fragments on their bodies dimmed, and their eyes were filled with fear. Too powerful. The other party's strength was really too powerful. He injured the two of them in one move. Who was this person? Damn it, attack together. Summoning the ancestors. The left and right protectors roared. Their bodies reassembled and charged into the sky. When the prodigy of the white crane race heard this, he quickly activated the power of his bloodline as well. These people were moving freely in the sky. Their palms were constantly forming seals, and their expressions were extremely pious. Ancestors remnant, soul, slumbering in the void, please awaken. The bloodline light on their bodies towered into the sky. Above their heads, a terrifying crack appeared. An illusory figure arrived through time and space. That was a white crane. It was just too massive, most of it unimaginable. Just a bit of its claw was enough to shatter the void within 1,000,000 li. The surrounding demonic chi was suppressed once again. The great demon raised his head and looked at the phantom in the sky. He narrowed his eyes. A mere remnant soul dared to be arrogant in front of him? I'll swallow you alive and recover my strength. The great devil was filled with a devilish aura. He reared his head back and laughed uproariously. After that, his body expanded abruptly, becoming over 1,000,000 feet tall. He stood tall and straight into the clouds, making it impossible for others to see how big he was. In the next moment, he bent over, opened his bloody mouth, and bit at the remnant soul. This scene was simply too terrifying. The void within 1,000,000 miles was swallowed by him in a single gulp. Damn it, who is this person? The elites of the white crane race were all dumbfounded. The younger cultivators were so scared that they pissed their pants. Even the experts of the older generation were stunned. The left and right guardians were also terrified. Oh no, could he be? They thought of a terrifying existence in their hearts. But that shouldn't be the case. Didn't that existence disappear into history? Why would he appear here? Roar! In the next moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Dark winds blew in all directions, and these people were all sent flying while vomiting blood. The remnant soul of the ancestor above them was swallowed in a single gulp. Uft! The left and right guardians vomited blood. The bodies of the people around them collapsed, and they looked dispirited. The remnant soul of the ancestor that they had summoned was actually eaten by the other party. This was simply like a fantasy story. Stop fighting. I'll tell you where that kid is. The left and right guardians screamed. This was a ferocious person, an existence that they could not provoke at all. Do I need you to tell me what I want to know? I'll go get it myself. In the sky, the great demon's voice was heard. Then he lifted his foot and stomped down. This stomp was like 1,000,000 demonic mountains descending, directly crushing the bodies of the half-saints. Even the left and right guardians could not withstand it. Their souls escaped, wanting to escape, but they were all caught by the great demon and swallowed. Soon, the great demon's body gradually shrank, returning to the appearance of a normal person. His eyes shone with cold light. Spiritual movement pavilion. His body shook, and he flew into the distance. As soon as he landed in the city, he heard people on the streets talking about the battle between Linwoody and the Guardians. Fallen country. Prince Mo Lee the Guardians. It seemed that the other party had already left. The great demon did not stay in the spiritual movement pavilion. Instead, he turned to look for Prince Mo Lee. He used his great superpower and instantly locked onto Prince Mo Lee. The group tore through the void again. On the other side, Prince Mo Lee and the others were pale. They were still in shock from before. They did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful that even their guardians were no match for him. The Tao Protector, Elder Huiyu, also sighed. He usually hid in the void and followed them silently. At this moment, his old face showed a trace of pain. He had no choice. He had lost his supreme treasure, the Sundial Stone, to Lin Xian, and he had almost died in Lin Xian's hands. He hoped that he would never meet Lin Xian again in this life. Suddenly, Elder Hui Yu's eyes shone with cold light. He revealed himself and looked into the distance. Who was it? Come out. With a roar, he shattered the void there. Prince Mo Li and the others also stopped, bewildered. Elder, what's going on? Especially Prince Mo Li, who was extremely nervous. Could it be that Lin Wuti had come? He was most afraid of Lin Xian now. If Lin Xian came, there was no way to stop him. The surrounding experts were also on high alert. But they said, "Don't worry, Prince, we're already at the border of the fallen country. Soon we'll enter the fallen country and we'll be safe. You're the guardian? Lin Wuti fought with you before, right?" A cold voice floated from the sky. "Kneel down and accept your death. I can give you a quick death." A large hand grabbed at Elder Hui Yu. "You're courting death." Elder Hui Yu punched out. His fist carried the power of the law. When it landed on the black hand, it made a loud noise. A large crack tore out. Elder Hui Yu's fist and half of his arm were completely shattered. You can withstand my attack? Interesting." The great demon revealed himself with a trace of surprise in his eyes. Chapter 32-36. Not to mention the other party's fist. The other party's body would have been torn apart by his attack. But this time, the other party only lost an arm. He was indeed strong. No wonder he could fight against Lin Wuti. "Who are you?" Elder Hui Yu was shocked. The other party's punch had easily injured him. It was too terrifying. Previously, he thought it was Lin Wuti who had come. But now it was not. "Who am I?" "You don't need to know. You only need to know that it's time for you to go to hell." The great demon roared. Demonic qi rushed out of his body and enveloped Elder Hui Yu, Prince Mo Li, and the rest. "Not good. Prince, run. Enter the fallen country." Elder Hui Yu shouted and his aura exploded. Under the protection of a group of people, Prince Mo Li turned into a stream of light and tore through the void, trying to escape. "You want to leave? Do you think you can?" "Demon swallows the world." The great demon roared. Demonic qi overflowed from his body and instantly swallowed everyone. Miserable screams were heard. After a gust of wind, everyone was swallowed by the great demon. Elder Hui Yu's body shattered and his soul was captured by the great demon. The great demon collected his soul. His eyes shone. Sundial Stone? He did not expect there to be such a thing. He waved his hand and shot out 3 streams of demonic qi, piercing through Elder Hui Yu's soul. Then he formed a seal with his palm. Heaven and earth reincarnated and thousands of demons searched. Elder Hui Yu had come into contact with the Sundial Stone. Now it was in Lin Xian's hands. It could be said that there was a connection between the two. Therefore, the great demon wanted to use Elder Hui Yu as a sacrifice to perform a peerless divine ability to search. Elder Hui Yu screamed. His soul was sucked dry. His energy, flesh, and blood exploded, turning into a blood mist that was absorbed by the divine ability. In the next moment, the great demon's eyes shone. In front of him, Elder Hui Yu's soul and flesh had turned into a star map of the universe. There was a light spot on it that was moving. Seeing this, the great demon's lips curled up in a smile. "I've finally found you. You can't run away. Buzz." He rushed into the sky and disappeared without a trace. On the other side, Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and the others were on their way. They were riding on a spirit ship and flying rapidly through the universe. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. He, too, was in charge of flying. Since he had the space coordinates, he only needed to fly for a short period of time to reach the Langya star. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. On this day, He too sent news that Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon had opened their eyes. Were they finally arriving at the Langya star? They stood up and checked the situation outside. In the distance, there was a blue star emitting a mysterious aura. Even Lin Xian's heavenly fortune god eyes could not see through it. What a mysterious world of stars! Indeed, there were many spirit boats parked around the blue star. Each of them was floating there. There were even spirit boats flying over from time to time. Obviously, they were all here to inquire about matters. The arrival of Lin Xian and the others did not attract the attention of others. After all, there were too many spirit boats here. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon looked around curiously. Suddenly, a cold shout came from afar. "Get lost!" Immediately after, a huge light beam blasted towards them. Lin Xian felt the spirit boat shake as it was attacked. His face darkened. Buzz! In the next moment, he appeared outside the spirit boat and looked around coldly. Soon, he locked onto a spirit boat on the left. "Were you the ones who attacked just now?" he asked coldly. "Kid, get lost. Don't you know there's a queue here?" A cold voice came from the spirit boat. The spirit boat was very large and had a very strange shape. It was in the shape of a huge silver wolf and was hovering in the void. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they sneered. This kid is courting death. He actually offended the Lonesome Wolf clan. He was lucky that he was near the Langistar. If he was outside, he would have been killed long ago. Moreover, his mind and soul would be destroyed. Lin Xian frowned when he heard the discussion around him. The Lonesome Wolf clan? Beside him, the Crimson Dragon also flashed out. "I've heard that this is also a powerful clan. It's said that they're a mutated species that has been passed down since ancient times. They're very powerful and are very powerful in the universe. Kid, you're very lucky to be here. If you weren't here, you would have died 100 times in that instant." A cold voice came from the spirit boat in front. At the same time, a silver spirit boat flew over from afar. At the same time, a scream came from inside. "Sixth uncle, I'm here." Seeing this scene, the experts in the surrounding spirit boats began to discuss among themselves. It seemed to be someone from the Lonesome Wolf clan. He seemed to be from the younger generation. The voice in the silver spirit boat in front was elated. "You're here." He looked at Lin Xian again. "Get out of here and give up your position. If you do, I can spare your life." Lin Xian's face darkened. He came here, but he was attacked before he could say anything. Now they were threatening him. Did they think that he was a pushover? He said coldly, "You're going too far, aren't you?" "Too far? Ha! You've offended the Lonesome Wolf clan. You've committed a capital offense. Besides, so what if I've gone too far? I can kill you. In the universe, strength and fists are the most important thing. Trash like you only deserves to crawl at our feet." "Oh, is that so? Strength and fists are the most important thing here." Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "Fine, I'll let you have a taste of strength and fists." At this point, he turned around, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. At the same time, the silver spirit boat behind rushed over, and 3 young men walked out from it. They were very arrogant. "Get lost!" They faced Lin Xian and shouted coldly. A nomological sword appeared in Lin Xian's hand. It carried a golden light and a dragon-shaped aura. The sword slashed down and directly enveloped the 3 young men who rushed over. "You're courting death. How dare you attack us?" The 3 paragons who rushed over were stunned. In the next moment, they roared angrily and burst out with intense light. The 3 of them quickly counterattacked, and terrifying nomological runes soared into the sky. Puff! However, that sword was too powerful. In an instant, the 3 paragons' great abilities were destroyed. Not only that, but their bodies were also sliced into pieces. Miserable screams were heard. This scene happened so suddenly that the surrounding people did not react. Only now did they come back to their senses. What? Their bodies trembled, and their faces were filled with fear. "Oh heavens, who is this kid? He actually dares to attack the Lonesome Wolf clan? Crazy, he's really crazy. Doesn't he know how terrifying the Lonesome Wolf clan is? Chapter 32-37. You're courting death. In front of them, angry roars could be heard from the giant silver wolf spirit vessel. Someone dared to attack their people. It was an unforgivable crime. A terrifying aura surged out. Silver law fragments danced in the air, forming a giant silver wolf that charged towards Lin Xian. Sensing the other party's attack, Lin Xian sneered coldly and dodged. Then he waved his hand and countless law fragments formed a palm, grabbing the three souls. At the same time he shouted, "Let's see who dares to attack me." His voice was like 1,000 claps of thunder, resounding in all directions. Everyone was stunned. The three sky prides of the Heavenly Slaughter Lone Wolf clan screamed crazily as their souls were captured. "Sixth uncle, save me. Sixth uncle, kill him. He must kill him." Buzz! In front of them, a figure appeared in the giant silver wolf spirit vessel. It was a middle-aged man with a slender figure and a cold face. There were silver wolf stripes on both sides of his face. His eyes had also turned a strange green color. At this moment, those dark green eyes were emitting a terrifying light as he stared fixedly at Lin Xian. "Kid, I advise you to let go. Otherwise, I'll make you wish you were dead." The others were also stunned. This kid dared to threaten the Heavenly Slaughter Lone Wolf clan. He was really courting death. "Kid, did you hear that? Hurry up and let us go, then kneel and kowtow. If we're in a good mood, we might give you a quick death. Otherwise, we'll make you wish you were dead." The three souls also roared like they had gone mad. "How dare you threaten me now?" Lin Xian snorted. He raised his finger and instantly destroyed one of the souls. Bang! Ah! The soul let out a shriek and vanished into thin air. "What? You killed him?" The surrounding people went crazy. The other two souls almost fainted. They no longer dared to be arrogant. The other party really dared to kill them. In front of them, the man called Sixth Uncle's pupils shrank. His green eyes were filled with shock. "Kill, the other party actually attacked." How dare the other party attack? Did the other party not know the consequences of offending the Heavenly Slaughter Lone Wolf clan? "Damn kid, let him go." The man who was addressed as Sixth Uncle said coldly. He didn't dare to make a move now because there were still two souls in the other party's hands. Lin Xian sneered, "You can let him go. Kneel down, kowtow, admit your mistake, slap yourself, and then give me your position. I can consider sparing their lives." "What did you say?" The man in front let out a furious roar as his aura erupted. A silver-white heavenly wolf phantom appeared behind him, emitting a monstrous aura. He was truly enraged. The other party actually dared to raise such a condition. He truly deserved to die 10,000 times over. The experts in the surrounding spirit boats felt their bodies turn cold and their scalps go numb. The scene in front of them had truly stunned them. "Since that's the case, you can go die." The man who was addressed as Sixth Uncle snorted coldly. He made his move. A palm stretched out, transforming into the silvery white claw of a lone wolf. It covered the sky and covered the earth, like a mountain descending from the sky. The aura on it was simply too terrifying. When the surrounding experts felt this aura, they felt as though they were about to faint. The Crimson Dragon also frowned. Lin Xian's eyes also burst out with a piercing cold light. He stretched out a palm, carrying monstrous flames, and charged forward. When he struck out with his palm, it was earth-shattering. The surrounding void quickly shattered. Boom! 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 The two large hands collided in the sky, and terrifying energy roared in all directions. However, at this moment, the man opposite him made his move again. A silver-white fist blasted over, bringing with it nomological fragments and the heavenly wolf phantom that filled the sky. It was extremely terrifying. This punch was too terrifying. Many people screamed in fright. Tiansha fist. It seemed that the other party was really angry. Humph. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. He grabbed one of the souls and threw it forward. No. That soul screamed and wanted to escape. But how could it escape Lin Xian's palm? In the next moment, the soul was blasted into pieces by the Tiansha fist. What a powerful fist! Lin Xian retreated to the side and sneered. He didn't show any mercy to his own people. Damn it! The man called Sixth Uncle was so angry that his entire body trembled. One of the souls was destroyed. This made his murderous aura surge. Kid, it seems that you really don't know what's good for you. The other party took a step forward, and a terrifying roar sounded. The Tiansha lone wolf phantom behind him became more and more solid, as if it was going to cross time and space. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Lin Xian sneered. He was now powerful, and his nomological laws were terrifying. Why would he be afraid of the other party? The surrounding spirit ships all retreated. They could tell that these two people were both powerhouses. The youth in front of them was not simple either. Therefore, the battle between the two would definitely be earth-shattering. Seeing that the atmosphere was getting colder and colder, and that the battle was about to erupt, a cold shout was heard. Who dared to make a move on the Langia Star? Could it be that they had forgotten the rules? As soon as this was said, many people heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that a battle would not happen. Sure enough, the man from the Tiansha Lone Wolf clan retracted his aura, and the Heavenly Wolf Phantom returned to his body. Lin Xian also turned his head to look. Two figures flew up from afar. Their feet were stepping on lotus flowers, and countless runes enveloped them. The two were not old, about 18 or 19 years old. The man was handsome, and the woman was beautiful, like a pair of immortal children. Each of them held an ancient hexagonal lantern. The clothes they wore were also very ancient, and runes were all over them. These two people should be from the Langia Star. Lin Xian also retracted his aura that filled the sky. He instantly formed a few seals and put away the last soul. Seeing this scene, the Tiansha Lone Wolf clan gnashed their teeth in anger. The man called Sixth Uncle's face also darkened. He ignored Lin Xian and said to the two immortal children of the Langia Star, "Greetings to the two immortal children. It's not that I want to break the rules, but someone really doesn't know what's good for him and dares to challenge my Tiansha Lone Wolf group. I had no choice but to make a move." Speaking of this, he looked at Lin Xian. The immortal children in front also turned their heads to stare at Lin Xian, and then asked coldly, "This happened because of you?" "There's a reason for this. If someone didn't go too far, why would I make a move?" Lin Xian said coldly. Hearing this, the beautiful woman nodded. "I've also heard of the insolence of the Tiansha Lone Wolf clan. I think you have a reason for this. I'll let it go this time. Remember the rules of the Langia Star. You're not allowed to fight here. All right, you can go in now," the immortal child and jade maiden said softly. In the next moment, the runes on their bodies spread out, and the surrounding spirit boats all trembled and entered the Langia Star. "Thank you." Lin Xian cupped his fists. Then he and the Crimson Dragon also entered the spirit boat. They started the spirit boat and flew forward. On the other side, the Tiansha Lone Wolf clan's faces darkened. Damn it, they actually let the other party in. Although they were very angry, they did not dare to vent their anger on the Langia Star. Therefore, they could only vent all their anger on Lin Xian. "Damn brat, after leaving the Langia Star, they will not let you go." Chapter 32-38. Lin Xian finally arrived at the Langia Star. After entering, they looked down through the spirit boat. The entire Langia Star was divided into countless regions. In each region, there were immortal children and jade maidens who came to receive them. Everyone first said what type of treasure they wanted, and then they were assigned to different regions. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon walked out and put away the spirit boat. At the same time, many figures descended near them. Among them was a man in purple. Even his hair was purple. His body was surrounded by purple light, and he was extraordinarily mighty. His gaze was as cold as a knife. After he swept his gaze across, many people trembled slightly. Many of the surrounding experts' pupils shrank. It was him, Zi Yuhao. He was a top genius and ranked 10th on the Abyss list. His strength could be said to be very terrifying. Even the veteran half-saints did not dare to be enemies with him. Zi Yuhao's appearance attracted the attention of countless people, and they whispered to each other. At this moment, a handsome young man appeared in front of them. He looked at the purple-robed figure in front of him and smiled. "Brother Yuhao, I didn't expect to see you again so soon. I wonder what Brother Yuhao is trying to ask." Lin Fan thought. "Octopus, treasure snake," Zi Yuhao said coldly. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people exclaimed. Many of them had not even heard of this name. However, some veteran half-saints' pupils shrank. Could it be that kind of thing? In front of them, the handsome young man also stopped smiling. "Brother Yuhao, please." He asked the purple-robed man to leave. Soon, it was Lin Xian's turn. A pair of immortal children asked. What did this young master want to ask? It was a kind of treasure that belonged to the category of crystal stones. It was more precious and could be said to be very rare. Lin Xian did not directly say that it was a stone because it would be too obvious. He was afraid that he would be targeted by many people. In front of them, the immortal children nodded, then took out a sign and said to Lin Xian, "Go to the 12th region." Lin Xian took the sign and flew forward. This was because when he landed from the sky, he saw that the entire Langistar was divided into many regions. He knew which direction these 12 zones were in. He thought that after he arrived, there would be someone waiting for him. After receiving the tokens, the two of them directly sat on the teleportation array. The array flickered. When he reappeared, he was already in the 12th district. In front of the 12th district, there was also a beautiful woman who asked, "I wonder what young master is asking about." They were similar to crystals. The 8th palace, the beautiful woman said in a sweet voice. Lin Xian once again headed towards the 8th palace. There were still 3 people in front of him, so Lin Xian waited for a while. When it was his turn, Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked in. The main hall was very spacious, and it was also very simple and unadorned. The surroundings were densely packed with symbols. It was obvious that if anyone dared to cause trouble here, they would be suppressed in an instant. After Lin Xian entered, the doors to the 8th hall closed. Following that, a voice rang out. "What does young master want to ask?" There was no one else around. Lin Xian had asked He-Tu before, so he could tell him his purpose here. Therefore, Lin Xian took a deep breath and said in a clear voice, "I want to ask about the whereabouts of the Dao Stone." Dao Stone? This time, it was the people of the 8th hall who were stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to ask about such a precious thing. However, as people of the Langistar, they had seen all kinds of problems. Therefore, although they were surprised, they quickly calmed down. Buzz! The array in front of them flickered, and a middle-aged woman walked out. She was wearing a long robe and had a dignified face. As soon as she appeared, she quickly asked, "Young master, what attribute do you want?" "I want more than 1 Dao stone." "How much information can you provide?" Lin Xian asked. One had to know that he needed 4 Dao stones and 1 origin magnetic stone. If possible, he hoped to ask them all at once. However, the dignified woman in front of him said, "Young master, you can only ask 1 thing at a time. This is the rule of the Langistar." Lin Xian nodded and said, "Would attribute?" The woman in red's eyes flickered. "Yes, our Langistar has information about would attribute Dao stones. However, the cost. Dao stones were more precious, so the cost was also incomparably precious. a complete sacred artifact or 30 million caddies of divine crystals. Or, help us do one thing. Hearing this price, Lin Xian took a deep breath and his expression changed. Wasn't this too expensive? One had to know that he didn't even have a true sacred artifact in his hands. He only had a few half-step sacred artifacts. There were also fragments of sacred artifacts. However, these couldn't be compared to a true sacred artifact. Moreover, 30 million caddies of divine crystals was such a huge amount of wealth. Moreover, the Langia star didn't give him a Tao stone, but only a piece of information. Whether he could obtain it or not was two different things. However, just a piece of information was sold at such a high price. It had to be said that it really shocked Lin Xian. Heavens, this Langia star was so rich. Previously, when he heard He Tu say that he didn't have much of a sense, now that he directly felt it, he was extremely shocked. Moreover, he knew that the Langia star was not only rich, but also extremely powerful. Otherwise, it would have been snatched away long ago. Not to mention other things, there were many saints in the various worlds. Any one of them would probably be able to snatch it away. Chapter 32-39. The two pieces of news were finished in a few short sentences. After Lin Xian heard this, his eyes flickered. He took a deep breath and left the 8th hall. After coming out, he shook his head slightly. These two pieces of news had cost him almost all his wealth. It really made his heart ache. The Crimson Dragon said, "Kid, be content. This is a Tao stone that even a saint might not be able to obtain." "That's true." Lin Xian nodded. If he had asked for other information, it probably wouldn't have been so expensive. And from the looks of it, this information was from a few hundred years ago. It was really uncertain if he would have it there. It seemed that he needed a certain amount of luck. Lin Xian rubbed his face and soared into the sky, leaving the 8th hall. He decided to head to the Elven planet and investigate the Elven forest. After all, the Wildwood planet was too far away. Who knew what would happen during the 5 years? Of course, the Crimson Dragon had also suggested that there should be an array formation between the star worlds. If he activated that kind of interworld teleportation array, the consumption would be very large. With Lin Xian's current wealth, he probably wouldn't be able to afford it. Soon, Lin Xian left the 8th hall and even left Area 12. When he came out and was about to leave, he met the purple-clothed man from before. The purple-clothed man seemed to have sensed Lin Xian's gaze and turned his head. His gaze was like a purple blade that was abnormally sharp, causing the void to tremble. This person is actually able to withstand my gaze. Interesting. Zi Yuhao's lips curled up into an evil smile. He took a deep look at Lin Xian, then turned and left. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. But he could feel the powerful force and terrifying killing intent in the other party's gaze. It seemed that the other party didn't cultivate a righteous cultivation technique and was related to evil. Outside, there were a few spirit boats hidden in the void. An invisible net stretched out and enveloped all the passers-by. It seemed to be searching for something. Suddenly, their hearts skipped a beat. Inside the spirit boat, a few men in white exclaimed and came out. Inside their spirit boat, Lin Xian was displayed on the array formation light screen. These people were from the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf clan. 6th uncle had not returned yet, so he quickly informed him. Then he would order 2 spirit boats to chase after that brat. He must not let him escape. This time he was going to destroy both his body and soul. The Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf's experts gritted their teeth. Soon, they sent a message to inform the experts of the Wolf Fong planet. At the same time, the 2 spirit boats concealed their auras and followed silently from afar. After Lin Xian left the Langia Star, he took out the spirit boat and went in with the Crimson Dragon. The 2 of them flew quickly and completely disappeared. After flying for about 2 hours, Lin Xian frowned. When he first came out, he felt like he was being watched by someone. Until now, This feeling was getting stronger and stronger. He stopped the spirit boat and turned to look. He activated the heavenly secret divine eye, and golden runes flickered and saw through everything. Soon he saw 2 spirit vessels following him silently in the cosmos behind him. At this moment, they also stopped there. The array formation of the 2 spirit boats was activated and concealed everything, but it still could not escape the heavenly secret divine eye. How dare you follow me? You don't know what death is. Lin Xian sneered. He knew without thinking that they must be from the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf clan. In that case, he could only send them to hell. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a piercing light. His body swayed, and he instantly left the spirit boat. In the 2 spirit boats behind, the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf clan members frowned. Why did that brat stop? Could it be that he had discovered us? Impossible. We had already activated the array formation. How could he have discovered us? Perhaps there was something else? Wait a little longer. The people in the 2 spirit boats communicated through the array formation. They also stopped and activated the array formation even more brilliantly, hiding it even more deeply. However, in the next moment, they were all stunned because they saw a figure rushing out in front of them. Oh no, it's that brat. Could it be that they had been discovered? They were panicking. At this moment, someone shouted, "So what if we've been discovered? Fire at him!" These people hurriedly injected divine crystals into the spirit boats. Runes flickered one after another, forming 2 pillars of light that shot forward at a high speed. The 2 pillars of light were like rainbows, carrying an aura that could destroy everything. In an instant, they enveloped Lin Xian. Humph! How powerful was Lin Xian? Facing these 2 shocking attacks, he did not dodge at all. He waved his fist and charged forward with terrifying nomological fragments. Boom! Flames surged into the sky as the fist pressed forward. Terrifying power shot into the sky, causing the entire starry sky to tremble. The 2 collided, erupting with shocking energy, illuminating the dark universe. That brat actually dared to take it head-on. Is he courting death? Hee, we can kill him without 6th Uncle's help. That's natural. Previously, it was inconvenient for 6th Uncle to make a move on the Langya star. Otherwise, how could that brat have survived until now? Inside the spirit boat, the people of the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf clan sneered. Under this attack, even a half-step sage would not be able to survive. The other party was definitely dead. However, their smiles soon froze, and their eyes became filled with fear. They looked ahead, their bodies trembling nonstop. In the energy light in front of them, a figure was like a god of war, rampaging and tearing apart all the light. Then it turned into an eternal light that quickly charged towards them. Damn it, it's that brat. Impossible, how could he still be alive? Even a half-step sage was dead. What kind of physique did he have? Could it be that he had top-grade battle armor on him? These people screamed in horror. Quickly, fire again. They fired another 4 energy beams that shot towards the other party like they were about to destroy the world. However, Lin Xian's physique was extremely strong. Nomological fragments circulated around his body, and his 9-yang divine body was burning like a blazing sun. Lin Xian broke through all the attacks and arrived in front of the 2 spirit boats. Boom! He threw out a punch and blasted forward. With a clang, an earth-shattering sound rang out like 10,000 claps of thunder. The spirit boat trembled nonstop, and a fist mark appeared on it. It was incomparably deep, and it was almost penetrated. Inside the spirit boat, the people of the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf clan were so scared that their bodies trembled when they saw this scene. Damn it! Who the hell is this person? One had to know that their spirit boat was very sturdy, and even a half-step sage could not break it. But now, the other party's punch had almost penetrated it. Could it be that this kid had surpassed a half-step sage? Damn it, they couldn't be so passive. The distance is too close, so it's not easy for the spirit boat to attack. Let's hurry up and attack. We have 8 people on our side. I don't believe that we can't kill the other party. The young prodigy gritted his teeth. This prodigy was also a half-step sage. He said, "Let's join forces." There were several half-step sages in the 2 spirit boats. The others were also close to reaching the half-step sage realm. They had all comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. Moreover, they had Dharma treasures and array formations in their hands. If they joined forces, they could definitely kill the other party. Chapter 3240. Kill. In an instant, these people rushed out. 5 of them quickly combined their formations to form the Heavenly Fiend formation and charged towards Lin Xian. The other 3 were all half-step saints. They had terrifying nomological fragments on them. They were extremely terrifying, like demon kings. Kid, go to hell. The 8 of them attacked together with earth-shattering momentum. They were confident that they could definitely kill a half-step saint in an instant. To be honest, the Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan was very powerful. With their lineup, not to mention killing a half-step saint, they could even kill 3 half-step saints. But now, unfortunately, they encountered Lin Xian. Lin Xian split the sky with his sword and directly shattered all the attacks. At the same time, his left leg swept out with the nomological fragments of the earth. Like an earth dragon, it instantly crushed the void. In front, the Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan members were instantly kicked out. Several of them were broken at the waist. Next, various nomological fragments danced in the air. Lin Xian directly defeated these people with his powerful strength. No, damn it, impossible. How can you be so powerful? These people from the Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan went crazy. The other party actually used several nomological fragments. Oh my God, how is this possible? One had to know that most of them only had a single nomological fragment. At most, there were 2 nomological fragments. However, the other party took out 4 or 5 nomological fragments in a row. They were beaten until they vomited blood. Not good. An expert and a top expert. These people went crazy and hurriedly fled back to the spirit boat. Leave quickly, leave. They wanted to escape, but how could they escape? The annihilation nomological fragment formed a large crack in front of them, and all the power was dissolved. Lin Xian held the nomological swords with both hands. One was a fire nomological sword, and the other was a metal nomological sword. He waved his hands, and sword chi swept out. Soon, these Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan members were all killed. No. When Lin Xian killed the last Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan member, a crazy roar came from afar. The surrounding void kept shattering, and large cracks of millions of miles appeared, charging towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and with a sweep of his long sword he cut off the cracks. He raised his head and looked ahead. In the distance, a few figures flew over. The person in the lead was extremely powerful. It was the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf's 6th uncle. The skinny man was so angry that his lungs were about to explode when he saw the scene in front of him. 8 geniuses of the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf tribe had died at the hands of the other party. Ah, I'll tear you to shreds. He raised his head and roared. His aura was so powerful that it could topple mountains and overturn seas. It covered the sky and earth and instantly formed a giant silver wolf that charged towards Lin Xian. This was a type of bloodline, great magical ability, bringing with it heaven overflowing silver law fragments, covering heaven and earth. Kill. Lin Xian also roared as he brandished his golden nomological sword. It was like a golden dragon dancing in the sky as the 2 huge shadows clashed in the universe. The resulting scene was extremely terrifying. Fortunately, this was not the astral world, but the cold universe. There were no buildings or people around. Otherwise, everything would probably turn into ashes. Damn, brat, I want you dead. The man called 6th uncle gritted his teeth and roared. Lin Xian sneered. If you want to blame someone, blame the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf tribe. You asked for it and had to chase after me. All of this is what you deserve. Brat, you're too arrogant. Do you really think you can contend with me?" In front of him, the skinny man's expression was ferocious. The power of his bloodline and the silver law fragments on his body were becoming more and more monstrous. At this point, he had completely made up his mind to tear the person in front of him into pieces. He would not hold back. "Is that so? I want to see what ability the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf tribe has to be so arrogant," Lin Xian said coldly. He had 6 types of law fragments and the dragon's sword soul. Why would he be afraid of the other party? You don't know what's good for you. When I catch you later, I'll pull out your tendons and skin you alive. I'll use hellfire to refine your soul for 10,000 years. I'll make you wish you were dead." As soon as he finished speaking, the skinny man turned into a silver flash and instantly charged towards Lin Xian. When he got close to Lin Xian, silver law fragments burst out from the skinny man's body and turned into wolf claws. They were densely packed and covered the sky, enveloping Lin Xian. They wanted to tear him to pieces. Boom! Lin Xian snorted coldly and activated the 9-yang divine body. His body shone brightly with mysterious runes that flickered with monstrous flames. At this moment, Lin Xian was really like a flaming war god. He relied on his strong physique to resist the skinny man's attack. At the same time, he activated the metal law fragment and formed a golden law sword. He waved it continuously. Not only did it contain the power of the golden law, but it also contained the power of the dragon's sword soul. Boom! Those demon wolf claws slammed onto Lin Xian's body, emitting a sonorous sound and bursting out with thousands of rays of light that illuminated the area. The void continued to shatter. Lin Xian's body trembled and even took a step back. However, his body did not split open. How could his body be so strong? The skinny man's pupils shrank in disbelief. His attack was so powerful that an ordinary half-saint would have been torn apart. Even if they had half-saint armor, they would be injured and spit out large mouthfuls of blood. Even their internal organs would be shattered. But now the other party's body only swayed a little and dissolved his terrifying power. It was really unbelievable. Could it be that the kid in front of him was a body tempering expert? He was extremely surprised. At the same time, the law sword in Lin Xian's hand had already slashed down. Buzz. Not good. The skinny man, called Sixth Uncle, quickly retreated. However, he was still a step too late. This sword shattered all the demon wolf claws that he had sent out. There was even a sword mark on his arm. Blood that had penetrated deep into his bones instantly flowed out. Damn it! The skinny man was extremely shocked. Not only was the other party's physique strong, but his attack was also shocking. He was from the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan, an ancient monster. His physique was extremely strong. Even if he did not wear armor, an ordinary half-saint would not be able to hurt him. But now, the other party had injured him with a light sword. The skinny man was in disbelief. His expression was gloomy as he quickly circulated his law power, trying to heal the wound. But soon he frowned. He could not heal it completely. There was a sharp sword intent on the wound that could not be erased in a short time. Damn it, Seal. The skinny man used a law fragment to instantly seal the wound and stop the bleeding. The next moment, he raised his head and stared at the other party with a piercing light in his eyes. Skywolf eyes. A pair of green eyes burst out with a piercing light, forming 2 green storms that swept forward. This was a kind of eye technique. Not only could it injure the body, but it could also injure the soul. With one strike, it could destroy one soul. Buzz. The 2 green storms passed through the flames on Lin Xian's body and seemed to want to tear Lin Xian's body apart. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body erupted with incomparable power. He was like a flaming war god, unstoppable. He also opened his heavenly secret divine eye. Golden runes rotated and formed 2 beams of light that crashed forward. Chapter 3241. Brat, do you think you can fight against me? Under my heavenly wolf eyes, your body and soul will be destroyed. The skinny man sneered. Lin Xian did not say anything, but he increased the power of his heavenly secret divine eyes. The golden light and the green storm collided, creating a shocking collision. It was as if the entire starry sky was shaking. Puff! The two-eye techniques disappeared in the sky. Is this all you've got? Not good. Lin Xian sneered. Brat, you're courting death. The skinny man roared, but he was shocked. He did not expect his heavenly wolf eye to be blocked by Lin Fan. It was too unexpected. In the next moment his eyes turned cold, and the silver light on his body became more solid. It was as if he had summoned a real demonic beast. Behind them, the Skyfiend Lone Wolf was also excited to see the scene. It seemed that their sixth uncle was going to use his trump card. The silver heavenly wolf's shadow became more and more solid. Then it roared and charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted, and the 9-yang divine body shone brightly, forming the shadow of the fire god. It stood tall in the sky. With a furious roar, its huge body charged forward. One had a strong physique, and the other had a terrifying bloodline. When the two clashed, it was earth-shattering. Skyfiend Wolf Howl. At this moment, the skinny man roared again. The silver wolf tattoo on his face flickered, and a blood-red light appeared on it. Roar! With a roar, a terrifying blood-red sound wave surged forward with a strong murderous aura. The void shattered, and the 9-yang divine body's shadow was suppressed. The sound wave was too terrifying. Lin Xian felt his blood boil, and his soul was about to faint. Azure Dragon Howl. Lin Xian roared, and the dragon-beating sword spirit in his body roared. The dragon's roar turned into a sword wave, and with him as the center it spread forward. The dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens. With a strong sword intent, it blocked the heavenly wolf howl. At the same time, the dragon's roar caused the experts of the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan to tremble uncontrollably. Not good. Bloodline suppression. The voice coming from the other party's body was too shocking. Even the skinny man's expression changed. He could feel that the sky wolf projection on his body was being suppressed. Damn it, you can actually let out a dragon's roar. The skinny man was extremely shocked. He frantically urged the silver laws and quickly rushed over. In the blink of an eye, he merged with the heavenly wolf's phantom and slammed into the 9-yang divine body's phantom. Boom! The phantom of the 9-yang divine body was pierced through. He quickly charged towards Lin Xian. His strength had increased again. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect this man to be so strong. It seemed that the other party was a veteran half-saint. His bloodline power and law fragment were both extremely powerful. No wonder he dared to be so arrogant. 13 green lotus swords. Lin Xian waved the golden light sword in his hand, drawing 13 sword qi in the sky. These sword qi carried the power of the metal law fragment and the fire law fragment. They quickly condensed in the air, forming a golden lotus. The fire on top of it was jumping. The 2 law fragments intertwined and flew forward. In an instant, it enveloped the skinny man. The golden flame lotus split open, and the terrifying sword qi completely pierced through the void. The metal law was extremely sharp, and the fire law was extremely violent. These 2 laws were extremely powerful in terms of attack power. At this moment, the 2 were mixed together. That power was truly terrifying to the extreme. The skinny man felt threatened in an instant. The sword qi hit his body, causing the sky wolf projection on his body to tremble violently. In the end, the sky wolf projection was pierced through, and a few sword qi slashed towards him. Get lost! The skinny man roared angrily, and a layer of blood light appeared on his body, forming blood-colored patterns that crawled all over his body. As a member of the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan, his body was not to be trifled with. At this moment, he exerted all his strength, and his originally thin and slender body suddenly enlarged, turning into a giant of about 30 meters tall. Silver hair even appeared on his body, and a tail appeared on his back. His claws also became sharp. At this moment, he had become very much like a human-shaped demon wolf. He wanted to use this demon beast's body to resist the remaining sword chi. The sword chi hit his body, and a dazzling light burst out, forcing him to retreat. In the end, 2 sword chi pierced his body and 2 bloody holes appeared. The fire law even set one of his arms on fire. The skinny man roared wildly and used his bloodline to suppress the sword chi. In the end, he shattered all the sword chi, and the flames were also extinguished by him. However, he was also injured by this attack. Behind him, the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan members screamed crazily. They did not dare to imagine that their 6th uncle would be injured again. If the first time was because of carelessness, then this time there was no way to explain. The opponent was very strong, stronger than their 6th uncle. 6th uncle, let's attack together. The experts at the back blurted out. All right. 6th uncle gritted his teeth and nodded. Now was not the time for him to be stubborn. Although the opponent was younger than him, he was too strong. Moreover, his methods were strange, and he could not guard against them. The opponent's sword chi hit his body, and the wound could not be completely healed. Although it was not fatal, it affected his combat strength. 3 figures rushed over from behind, and they were also very strong. It looked like it was going to be 4 against 1. Ruzalong. Lin Xian roared, and the crimson dragon behind him rushed out of the black earth. With a roar, it transformed into a 100-meter-long dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws in the void, and a powerful dragon aura suppressed the surroundings. Ha ha! Ben Huang could not wait any longer. Come, come, come. Today, Ben Huang will teach you how to barbecue skewers. Lightning circled around his body, and clouds filled the air. He really did have a boundless divine aura. My line, my line. Sitting on his back was a little white monkey. At this moment, the little white monkey was waving its little paws and seemed very excited. The dragon race. When the Skyfiend Lone Wolf race saw this scene, their pupils constricted. They did not expect that in addition to the kid in front of them, the other party had a dragon race companion. And from the looks of it, it was not an ordinary dragon race. The dragon aura and dragon blood on the other party were too strong. I didn't expect you to have a helper, but so what? Do you believe that the 4 of us half-saints can't take you down? Indeed, they had 4 half-saints on their side. No matter how strong the opponent was, there were only 2 of them. 2 against 1, they should be able to win, right? Moreover, they were from the same race, and their bloodlines could resonate, and they could use some of their race's forbidden abilities. If they could not win, they would have lived in vain all these years. Chapter 3242. Attack! On the other side, the man called 6th Uncle roared, and the 4 half-saints charged over. 6th Uncle and one of the men charged at Lin Xian, while the other 2 half-saints charged at the Crimson Dragon. Go to hell, kid! 6th Uncle and the young half-saint attacked quickly, brandishing powerful precept fragments. These 2 half-saints were not ordinary. For a moment, they suppressed Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian soon counterattacked. He had 6 precept fragments and was very strong. He was not at a disadvantage against the 2 half-saints, and gradually he even suppressed them. This scene shocked 6th Uncle and the young half-saint. Damn it, the opponent was too strong. Could it be that he did not use his full strength before? Thinking of this, 6th Uncle's face became gloomy. Kill him, he must kill him. Otherwise, it would be a big disaster. On the other battlefield, the Crimson Dragon was also very strong. He kept spewing wind and lightning, and the clouds around him surged. Rain fell from the sky. The 4 precept fragments fought against the 2 half-saints. For a moment, the momentum was amazing. The Crimson Dragon was not at a disadvantage either. He even beat the two half-saints, who screamed in pain. Damn it, he was also an expert. He used all kinds of dragon magic, and the physique of the dragon clan was stronger than theirs. For a moment, the four half-saints, Lonesome Wolf, roared wildly. Sixth Uncle saw this scene, and his heart sank a little. If this continued, they would not be able to do anything to the other party. They might even be seriously injured by the other party. In the end, some of them might die here. The three of you, listen to my order and form the four beasts formation. Sixth Uncle roared angrily and bit his finger. The blood of a half-step saint flowed, forming a strange arc with his hand and the fragment of law. It was a mysterious rune with blood-colored power, as if to summon some kind of magic. The other three half-saints did the same. Soon, a blood-colored rune formed in front of him. For a moment, an inexplicable connection was formed between the four of them. A large formation was formed around the four of them, enveloping Lin Xian, Sweat, and the Crimson Dragon. Not good, Rizalong counterattack. They were forming a formation. Lin Xian let out a long howl, his eyes bursting with a piercing cold light. The sword Qi in his hand became even more terrifying. Sword after sword slashed forward. The Crimson Dragon naturally knew that he couldn't let these people form a formation. He quickly made his move, using a grand divine ability of the dragon folk to fly forward. However, the four half-saints were determined to use this technique. Their speed was incomparably fast. They simply didn't try to fight back. Instead, they quickly dodged. Moreover, as half-saints, the speed at which they formed seals was extremely fast. Thus, the formation was about to be completed. At this time, the little snow-white monkey made its move, arriving in front of a half-saint in an instant. It reached out its little claws and slapped the other party's face. Bang! He knocked the other party unconscious in an instant. The Crimson Dragon seized the opportunity and swung its claws, tearing the opponent's body apart. Roar! The half-saint screamed. His body split open, and blood immediately flowed out. The formation also paused. It was not completed yet. There was only one last step left. Not good. Sixth Uncle's pupils constricted. Damn it, there's something wrong with that monkey too. They were all half-saints. They were so powerful, but they were knocked unconscious by the other party's slap. There was definitely something wrong with that. The half-saint's body was shattered. He screamed crazily, but soon he reformed. At his level, although the injury was serious, it was not enough to kill him. After the wounds healed, he roared and blood-colored light shot up into the sky. His body suddenly grew larger, and his robe was shredded to pieces, leaving only a suit of battle armor. His appearance also changed. Silver-white wolf fur appeared on his body. A tail appeared on his back, and his claws became sharp. His human head also turned into a wolf's head. His green eyes were emitting a terrifying light. True form. The other party had transformed into his true form. Moreover, the power of his bloodline was fully activated. He waved his wolf claws, tearing the void apart. He grabbed at the little snow-white monkey. At the same time, the other hand formed the last rune. Suddenly, the formation of the four beasts was formed. The millions of miles of space where Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were completely turned blood-red. The little snow-white monkey quickly dodged the other party's wolf claws. It made faces in the sky and spat. However, at this moment, the blood-red light in the void stretched out 4 blood-red arms. Each of them had bright blood-red patterns on it. The appearance of the 4 arms was very strange. As soon as they appeared, they sealed a small space. That small space was where the little snow-white monkey was. Buzz! The 4 arms grabbed the little snow-white monkey. Not good. The Crimson Dragon exclaimed and wanted to rush over, but the other half-saint cooperated with the formation to resist. In the distance, Lin Xian also frowned. He was also stopped by Sixth Uncle and the other half-saint. Get lost. Lin Xian knocked the two half-saints back with a sword, but soon the two half-saints rushed over. Are you trying to kill us? Impossible. This time the monkey will definitely die. You're courting death. Lin Xian was angry. His eyes shone with a cold light, and powerful sword qi rose from his body. In an instant, he shot out 48,000 rays of sword qi. The terrible light shrouded sixth uncle and the other half-saint. The next moment, the two half-saints screamed. Thousands of cracks appeared on their bodies. They were densely packed and spread all over their bodies. Their eyes were filled with horror. Sixth uncle roared, "Damn monkey, go to hell!" The arm exerted force, and the blood-red light filled the sky. It could tear everything apart. Not good. Lin Xian sensed a slight threat from it. It was definitely capable of tearing apart the body of a half-saint. The little snow-white monkey was in danger. It was impossible to rush over now, but he would not give up. He formed a seal with his hands. In the sky, a golden eye appeared with a powerful and mysterious power. The golden runes spun rapidly, forming a terrible flame that floated down. Suddenly, the surrounding blood-red mist was all set ablaze. However, even more mist floated out and formed layers upon layers of blood-colored walls, protecting the 4 blood-colored palms. At this moment, the blood-red palms exerted force. With a squelch, the void was completely crushed. "No, Whitey!" Lin Xian roared. His eyes were red. The little snow-white monkey was his companion. Along the way, it had helped him find many treasures, but he did not expect that it would be killed by the other party now. His eyes were red. "If Whitey dies, I'll bury the entire Lonesome Wolves with it." Lin Xian's voice was so cold that sixth uncle and the other 3 half-saints trembled. They seemed to have provoked an extremely powerful being. Damn it! On the other side, the Crimson Dragon was also roaring. "Ben Huang will not let you go. Ben Huang will beat you Lonesome Wolves and break your necks one by one. Then he will eat all of you." His eyes were red. He and the little snow-white monkey had established a deep relationship. Just as the two of them were in despair, a muffled voice came from the blood-red void in front of them. Then it turned into a roar. Then the blood-red palms shattered, and a white figure rushed out of the void. Chapter 3243. Whitey and Lin Xian exclaimed. The Crimson Dragon heaved a sigh of relief. Everything was fine. That was great. Sixth uncle and the others narrowed their eyes. Not dead? How was that possible? Could it be that this monkey was also a half-saint? He could not believe that all 3 of them were half-saints. Where did they come from? One had to know that the Lonesome Wolf clan had produced so many half-saints because they had a long history and were powerful. Their clan was extremely powerful in the universe. However, they did not know the other party at all. Previously, they had thought that the other party was just someone from a small world and would not be able to withstand a single blow. But now they realized that they were wrong. The other party was too mysterious. The 2 companions beside him were also very mysterious. Damn it! How was that possible? The monkey was not dead. The half-saint was also stunned. He looked at the scene in front of him and was extremely shocked. The little white monkey flew out of the blood-red void. Its little face had become a little cold, and its big black eyes were shining with a trace of golden light. In the next moment, a shocking change happened. Buzz! His body abruptly grew in size, and countless bolts of lightning and radiance surrounded his body. It seemed to have turned into an ape king. Boom! With a punch, it destroyed everything. The half-saint was smashed into pieces. Ah! A miserable voice was heard. The half-step saint was screaming in the void. However, in the next moment, Whitey opened its mouth and swallowed the half-saint's soul. This scene was simply too shocking. They did not expect the little white monkey to have such a change. Even the Crimson Dragon and Lin Xian were stunned. One had to know that the little white monkey had always been very cute. Although it had a special ability, it was very fast. Its speed was extremely fast, and it could knock people unconscious. Moreover, it could also search for treasures. However, other than that, its combat strength was not very strong. Lin Xian did not plan to let the little white monkey fight. The little white monkey's search for treasures was very important to him, and he was very happy about it. However, who would have thought that the little white monkey would suddenly undergo a shocking change? The cute furball had turned into an indomitable ape king. Moreover, that power was extremely terrifying. A single strike had shattered a half-saint. In fact, he had even sucked in his opponent's soul. He had killed a half-saint with just a wave of his hand. Damn it, what is this thing? The other 2 half-saints of the Lonesome Wolf tribe were stunned. Even the 6th uncle was dumbfounded. 6th uncle, what's going on? The other 2 asked crazily. 6th uncle's face was gloomy as he stared at the imposing figure in front of him, his eyes flickering. Damn it! Why is it so similar to that thing in the legends? But that was impossible. Wasn't that thing extinct a long time ago? The 6th uncle was deeply shocked. He had a guess in his mind, but he quickly rejected it as soon as it appeared. Impossible! That thing couldn't possibly exist. However, what was going on with the scene before him? Could it be that it was related to that thing? Or perhaps he possessed a trace of the other party's bloodline? Thinking of this possibility, 6th uncle felt that it was very likely. His face turned cold. Damn it, let's go. These people are too strange. Whether it was Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, or the sudden appearance of Whitey, they were all beyond their expectations. If they continued to fight, they would probably be in danger. Therefore, the 3 of them turned around and wanted to leave. Roar! Just as the 3 of them moved, an earth-shattering roar came from behind them. The 4 beasts formation they had formed was instantly torn apart. Not only that, a terrifying white light came toward them. In an instant, a huge monster appeared in front of them. With a wave of its hand, it had the power to sweep away the world. Oh no! The 3 of them tried their best to dodge. At this moment, the little white monkey stared at one of the half-saints. Once again, it clawed down and crushed him. It sucked hard and sucked in the soul of the half-saints. Damn it, run! Ignite your bloodline! 6th uncle screamed crazily. The other party was too strange. He didn't dare to fight against it at all. The 2 of them used all their strength, and their bodies bloomed with blood-red light. Behind them, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon took a deep breath. They still didn't understand what was going on with Whitey, but now there was no time for them to think about it. They had to kill the Lonesome Wolf clan first, and then slowly interrogate them. The 2 of them also unleashed their strength, and the precepts danced on their bodies. Lin Xian turned into a dragon shadow and turned into a sword light, rushing over quickly. 6th uncle and the half-saints had already lost their will to fight. Under the attack of the little white monkey, they were scared out of their wits. At this moment, with the addition of Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon, they were forced to retreat. The young half-saint was pierced through by An Hong's 5 lightning precepts. Then the little white monkey smashed him with a slap and sucked his soul into its stomach. As for 6th uncle, Lin Xian used the precepts of metal and the dragon sword soul to split him in half. His soul was also swallowed by the little white monkey. Everyone was killed. Lin Xian began to collect their spiritual boats and storage rings. The Crimson Dragon collected all their flesh and blood. The Lonesome Wolf clan had a rich bloodline and powerful strength. These things were very useful to him. The little snow white monkey continued to roar. Its huge and majestic body slowly shrunk until it turned into a small furry ball. Oh! The little white monkey opened its eyes, and there was a trace of confusion in its black, gem-like eyes. Seeing this, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon stopped what they were doing and quickly flew over. "Are you okay?" Lin Xian asked with concern. The Crimson Dragon beside him also said, "Little one, did you take the wrong medicine?" The little white monkey was very confused. Then it waved its little paw and pointed at Lin Xian and said in a childish voice, "Lin Xian." Hearing this voice, Lin Xian was stunned. The little white monkey could actually speak. It was too shocking. One had to know that he was very shocked before. How could a spiritual beast like the little white monkey not speak? But he had never seen the little white monkey speak. Now, the little white monkey could finally speak. This made Lin Xian very happy. The Crimson Dragon also hurriedly asked, "Little one, what about me? Do you know me?" "Big Bad Dragon." The dark red divine dragon was extremely displeased with this form of address. "Kid, you should be calling me the Dragon Emperor of the 8 Barren Lands. The one and only sword comes from the west." Lin Xian rolled his eyes at the Crimson Dragon and then looked at the little white monkey. "What happened just now? Can you transform? What race are you?" He had always felt that the little white monkey's origin was very unusual. Chapter 32:44. The snow-white little monkey shook its head, still very confused. Forget it. Lin Xian didn't ask further. He knew that the snow-white little monkey was a mutated species of heaven and earth, so it should be normal for it to have mysterious divine abilities. In any case, the other party would become stronger and stronger in the future. Moreover, the other party didn't encounter any danger, which made him heave a sigh of relief. Next, he put away all the storage rings and spirit boats of the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf clan. Then the two of them returned to the spirit boat and flew quickly. They flew towards the elven planet. The Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf clan had several half-sages, and the resources in their storage rings were very rich. Therefore, Lin Xian had obtained quite a lot of things from this operation. Among them, there were many divine crystals. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Previously, he had spent almost all his divine crystals to inquire about the Tao Stone. Originally, he had a headache, but now the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf clan had given him so many divine crystals. It was enough for him to cultivate for this period of time. Next, Lin Xian and the others began their seclusion. He, too, controlled the spirit boat and flew in the universe. In another place in the pitch-black universe, a man who looked like a demon was riding a dragon boat. In front of him, there was a light screen with a light spot that was moving quickly. The great demon looked at the moving light spot on the light screen and snorted coldly. "I want to see where you can escape to." Half a year passed in cultivation. Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and the others opened their eyes. They were almost at their destination. After flying for another 2 months, a green planet finally appeared in front of them. The green planet was too strange and was very different from other worlds. Green light surrounded it and emitted a dense vitality. What a powerful power of wood! Lin Xian was shocked. He also had a fragment of the law of wood, so he could naturally feel the powerful vitality of the world below. This should be the elven planet, right? These green lights were all forests. Beside him, the Crimson Dragon was also shocked. He had never seen a world with such a vast forest, which accounted for more than 90% of the world. "Let's go." Lin Xian waved his hand and sped up the spirit ship. They entered the elven planet. Half a day later, Lin Xian and company walked out of the spirit boat. He put away the spirit boat with the little white monkey sitting on his shoulder. The Crimson Dragon followed beside him, and the three of them looked around. As far as the eye could see, it was a boundless primeval forest with luxuriant foliage. All kinds of rare and precious beasts were running and roaring within. The vitality here was very strong. Where was the elf forest? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Although most of this place was a primeval forest, it should be divided into many regions. That's easy. The Crimson Dragon swung its tail, turned into a phantom, and rushed down. Soon he flew up with a demonic beast in his hand. This was a 9-star demon king. It was originally an overlord in the forest, but in front of the Crimson Dragon, it was trembling. "Spare me!" This 9-star Demon King was trembling. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. "If you want to live, tell us where the elf forest is." "So the three of you want to go to the elf forest? That's easy, I'll bring you there." The Demon King's body trembled, and soon the Crimson Dragon released its dragon claws. The 9-star Demon King's body transformed into a flying demonic beast that was tens of thousands of meters long. He said, "Come on up, I'll bring you there now." Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and the little white monkey got on the back of the flying demonic beast and turned into a stream of light that flew into the distance. After flying for another day, the demonic beast finally stopped. He said, "Below us is the elf forest. The elf forest is very large, but the dark green area ahead is the depths of the elf forest. It's very dangerous there." At this point, a hint of fear appeared in his eyes. Clearly, this place was also a forbidden area for them. "All right, you can go." Lin Xian waved his hand and didn't kill them. The Demon King was so excited that it was about to cry. It turned into a gust of demonic wind and quickly fled. "Is this the elf forest?" The Crimson Dragon looked around in surprise. He looked at the little white monkey and wondered if there were any treasures below. "Yeah, I think there are a lot of good things." Little White waved its little claws, and its big gem-like eyes shone brightly. Needless to say, there should be a lot of natural treasures and rare fruits below. "Let's go down and take a look." Since they had come to the elf forest, Lin Xian wasn't in a hurry. He would collect some resources first. In the next moment, the three of them flew down. The elf forest was indeed terrifying. There were hordes of demonic beasts. Just the outside was already very dangerous. However, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were extremely powerful. When the two of them worked together, they could easily kill everything. Countless demon kings prostrated themselves on the ground, not daring to resist. Under the lead of the little white monkey, they obtained a lot of good things. These were all spirit herbs and spirit fruits that contained extremely strong energy, and most of them were recovery type. As expected of the elven planet, the vitality of the forest here was so exuberant. That was indeed the case. Lin Xian keenly observed that the life forms of the plants and beasts around him were much stronger than the beasts of other worlds. This should be a wood-type star, and the power of wood on it was very dense. That was why such a scene was created. "I wonder where the wood Dao stone is." Lin Xian's eyes scanned the surroundings. Her soul spread out in all directions like a tide. Soon, it covered a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Nothing. He frowned slightly. He had the Sun Dao stone in his hand, so he could naturally sense the aura of the other Dao stones. The aura of the Dao stones was extremely mysterious. The Dao runes contained on them were very special. If there was one, he should have been able to sense it immediately. It seemed that there was nothing outside. It should be in the depths. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's expression turned solemn. His eyes erupted with a piercing golden light as he activated the heavenly secret divine eyes to the extreme. They transformed into two mysterious runes that pierced through the void and looked into the distance. His gaze pierced through everything and soon saw the depths of the elf forest. But in the next moment he frowned. Under the heavenly secret divine eyes, he indeed sensed a mysterious power. However, when he wanted to take a closer look, he realized that that place was covered by a mysterious aura. Even so, he couldn't see through it. Lin Xian retracted his gaze. The Crimson Dragon beside him asked, "Kid, what did you see? Is there a wood-type Dao stone?" "I didn't see it. The depths of the elf forest are indeed not ordinary. There is a mysterious aura that blocks my observation. However, I did feel an extremely strong life force. Perhaps it should be the Dao stone. Moreover, with the news of the Langya star, it shouldn't be wrong. It seems that we are very lucky this time. This wood-type Dao stone hasn't been obtained by anyone else yet." Chapter 32:45. Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and Snow White Little Marquis walked towards the depths of the elven forest. At the same time, another group of people landed on the elven planet. It was a man in purple clothes. He had a handsome face and a trace of evil in his eyes. Behind him were two followers, but they were also very powerful and had comprehended a level close to the Tao. "Master, this is the elven planet." A servant beside him hurriedly took out a scroll and opened it. The sky flickered and a map of the elven planet appeared. The servant pointed at the forest above and said, "This was the elven forest. Elven forest? The octadic treasure snake should be inside. Let's go." The man in purple swayed and flew forward. The two servants behind him quickly followed. On the other side, in the forest, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were very fast. They shuttled through and finally arrived at the depths of the elven forest. This was a forbidden area, so ordinary people wouldn't come here. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon didn't encounter anyone along the way other than beasts. However, after arriving at the depths of the forest, there were fewer beasts around. But thinking about it, there should still be some. Although there were fewer beasts, their strength would probably increase exponentially. Not long after the two of them entered, they were attacked. There was a tree demon around them that was very terrifying. The vines that filled the sky carried extremely strong power as they stabbed towards Su Qin and the Crimson Dragon. At the same time, the two of them felt the blood in their bodies churning as if they were about to be sucked dry. Boom! The Crimson Dragon opened its mouth and spat out lightning in all directions. Thunderwood. Instantly, the vines of these plants were sent flying. On Lin Xian's side, he also used the law of metal, forming a terrifying sword light that slashed forward. With a slash of his sword, a vacuum was formed in front of him. Soon, they left the range of the tree demon. But not long after, Lin Xian frowned. The Crimson Dragon also snorted coldly as a cold light erupted from its eyes. I'm a little dizzy." Xiao Bai sat on Lin Xian's shoulder and shook its head as if it was drunk. "Little guy, be careful. This flower is poisonous." Lin Xian looked at Little White and injected some energy into it. Humph! He snorted coldly, and countless sword qi rose up, completely enveloping them. There must be a very poisonous flower in the surroundings that affected them. However, Lin Xian had the great dragon sword spirit and could destroy everything. Even if there were poisonous flowers, they were not afraid. After the sword qi enveloped them, it quickly isolated them from the poison. Lin Xian's group continued onward. During this period, they encountered all kinds of demonic beasts. Some of them had even reached the half-saint level. Fortunately, Lin Xian and the Crimson Divine Dragon were powerful enough to rely on their various abilities to safely pass through. Otherwise, if it were any other half-saint, they would have perished here. No wonder no one dared to come here. This was indeed a very dangerous place. However, it wasn't as if Lin Xian and the others didn't return empty-handed. Although this place was dangerous, other martialists rarely came here. As a result, the treasures here were very old. Lin Xian found a few 9,000-year-old king herbs. He even found a small tree that was very old and had an extremely strong power. According to the Crimson Dragon's speculation, it should be more than 10,000 years old. Lin Xian was very tempted. He picked the spiritual fruits on it and gave them to the Crimson Dragon and Little White. He put away the rest. He even picked some leaves. It was an unexpected harvest. After doing this, they walked forward even faster. These could only be considered unexpected surprises. His main goal was the wood attribute, Tao Stone. Gradually, a gray fog appeared in front of them, enveloping the entire area. Poisonous gas. Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the path ahead would become even more dangerous. He displayed his sword qi even more bitingly cold, almost forming a sword-shaped small world. Their group was extremely powerful and had the power to destroy everything. The group walked into the poisonous gas. This time they were attacked even more. In addition to these tree demons, there were also all kinds of monsters. It was impossible to guard against. Suddenly, they stopped because there were a few corpses in front of them. These corpses had no flesh and blood, only bones were left. However, these bones were extremely unusual. Although they were broken and scattered on the ground, there was a light circulating on them. They carried a terrifying power. Obviously, these were the bones of a powerhouse. It seemed that this person was at least a half-saint powerhouse. The Crimson Dragon waved its claws and grabbed the bones to examine them closely. Lin Xian also frowned. He found that although these bones were circulating with a mysterious aura, there were also many black spots on them. It was obvious that they had been poisoned to death. It seemed that there were at least 3 half-saint corpses here. He didn't know if they were companions or if they had been attacked. However, it was obvious that they hadn't killed each other. Instead, they had been killed by the terrifying existence here. Be careful. They took a deep breath and continued to walk forward. After walking for about 30 minutes, Lin Xian's eyes suddenly burst with a piercing light. The Crimson Dragon also exclaimed. There was someone. There was indeed someone in front of them. However, the aura was very weak. Lin Xian and the others sped up and flashed over. There was a small stream in front of them. Beside the stream, there was a figure lying there. That person's armor was broken. His hair was disheveled, and his body was covered in blood. There were huge cracks on his body that had been forcibly torn open. Meanwhile, that person couldn't heal the cracks at all. They were black in color, carrying extremely powerful poison. Hearing the sound of something breaking through the air in front of them, the person by the river raised his head with difficulty, revealing a pale face. Lin Xian could see that this was a young warrior. Moreover, it seemed that he should be a genius. He was very powerful and had reached the half-saint level. However, he was now seriously injured. Not only his body, but also his soul seemed to have been severely injured. "Save me! Quickly save me!" Seeing that someone was coming, the man hurriedly cried for help. However, as soon as he spoke, he spat out a large amount of blood that pierced through the void. Seeing this, Lin Xian frowned. However, he still struck out a beam of the law of wood and poured it into the man's body. Immediately, the man felt a vitality enveloping him. "What's going on? Who attacked you? Is there a terrifying existence in front of you?" The Crimson Dragon also flew over and asked with a frown. He gave the man a few more pills, and the man breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you for saving my life. I can't thank you enough. However, I advise you to leave quickly. There is a terrifying existence in front of you. It's too terrifying. We can't kill him at all. However, he can easily kill us. This time, we had 5 half-saints working together. However, except for me, the others were all killed." Chapter 3246. 5 Half-Saints. Hearing this, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon looked grave. The joint forces of 5 half-saints was already an extremely terrifying force. But now 4 of them had been killed and 1 was seriously injured. It was unbelievable. What kind of existence was this? How could it be so terrifying? The Crimson Dragon asked. The young half-saint shook his head, his eyes filled with fear. "We don't know. He doesn't seem to have a body and can transform into many forms. He can even split. His body seems to be immortal. No matter how serious his injuries are, they can heal quickly. He calls himself an immortal, a unique immortal." "What? An immortal?" Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon exclaimed as soon as he said that. Their eyes were filled with seriousness. If he was really an immortal, then they were in danger. Even the great emperors couldn't become immortals. They knew how terrifying immortals were. But soon the Crimson Dragon shook his head. It was impossible. There couldn't be any immortals here. A great emperor could rule thousands of worlds and sweep across the universe, let alone an immortal. If he was really an immortal, he would have gone out and ruled thousands of worlds. Why would he hide in a forest? Lin Xian nodded and calmed down. The little white monkey on his shoulder was gnawing on a spiritual fruit. Its big black eyes were filled with curiosity. It said, "I seem to feel a strange energy in front of us, but it doesn't seem to be an edible fruit." Strange energy. Could it be a Tao stone? Lin Xian was shocked. His eyes lit up. He and the Crimson Dragon looked at each other and took a deep breath. No matter how dangerous it was, they still had to take a look. But suddenly, Lin Xian's hair stood on end. The pale face of the very weak young half-saint in front of him suddenly became ferocious. His eyes had also turned green, and his body was emitting a sinister aura. In the next moment, he roared madly and instantly attacked Lin Xian. This attack could be said to be unexpected. The Crimson Dragon was shocked, and Lin Xian's pupils shrank. At this distance, he couldn't dodge at all. He could only take it head-on. Boom! When the attack landed on him, it immediately tore apart the sword light on his body and landed on his body. Lin Xian was sent flying. Fortunately, his divine body was strong enough to block the attack. However, Lin Xian's blood was still boiling. Damn it! The Crimson Dragon roared angrily and swung its tail. Like a raging wave hitting the shore, it slapped the injured half-saint away. Damn it, we saved you out of kindness, but you actually dare to bite the hand that feeds you. He roared as if he had gone mad. The snow-white little monkey was also panting with rage, waving its little paws. Lin Xian stood up and suppressed his boiling blood. He gritted his teeth and said, "No, there's something wrong with me." He raised his head and looked ahead. As expected, the injured half-saint in front of him was sent flying. He hit a giant tree branch in the distance and fell down. His expression was ferocious and painful. "Kill me, I beg you, kill me. He's here. He's in my body. What the hell?" The Crimson Dragon was shocked. It seemed that there was something in the injured half-saint's body that was controlling him. "It's him. It's that unkillable thing. He has a clone in my body. Kill me quickly. Give me a quick death." The injured half-saint screamed crazily. In the next moment, he completely lost his mind. His face was also covered in green light. It was extremely distorted. The blood on his body was no longer flowing. He emitted a cold aura and a murderous intent. He roared and quickly attacked Lin Xian. The surrounding ancient trees and plants were all mobilized by him. They formed countless attacks and suppressed Lin Xian. In an instant, Lin Xian felt as if he was facing the North Demon. The blood in his body was boiling as if it was about to be sucked away. He snorted coldly. The great dragon sword soul in his body surged and destroyed this terrifying power. Buzz! At this moment, the injured half-saint had already charged over. Terrifying law fragments rose from his body and formed a light palm that grabbed Lin Xian's head. This light palm could tear everything apart. It was extremely terrifying. "Sword, come!" Lin Xian roared as he waved the countless fragments of the nomological laws of metal in his hand, forming a golden sword of light. The sharp aura of the dragon's soul flickered on the sword. Buzz! The sword slashed out. The power of the law, accompanied by the power of the great dragon sword soul, slashed forward. The sword slashed the half-saint apart. The half-saint's soul floated in the void. Lin Xian could clearly see that there was a green ghost face on the half-saint's translucent soul. It was extremely ferocious. It must be this green ghost face that controlled the half-saint. "Kill me," the half-saint's soul said weakly. It was obvious that he was in great pain. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He knew that the half-saint would not be able to survive. Thinking of this, he waved his sword again. A terrifying sword intent released a terrifying power and slashed forward. Feeling the power of the sword, the green ghost face screamed and dodged instantly. However, how could he dodge Lin Xian's sword chi? The sword chi turned into a green lotus and enveloped the half-saint, quickly obliterating him. However, this attack not only obliterated the green ghost face, but also the half-saint soul. In the end, the half-saint soul that was getting fainter smiled. He stared at Lin Xian and seemed to be relieved. "Thank you." Whoosh! The half-saint's soul vanished. The half-saint had completely fallen. Lin Xian's heart was a little heavy. What was this ghost face? It was too terrifying. It could actually control a half-saint. Moreover, looking at the half-saint's terrified look, it seemed that he had no strength to fight back at all. It seemed that there was great danger ahead. "Kid, let's go and take a look." Ben Huang wanted to see what the hell was that thing that dared to call itself an immortal. They quickly overtook the enemy and charged forward. At this moment, another group of people came to the elf forest. It was the purple-robed young man and his 2 servants. The purple-robed young man looked at the forest below. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. A piercing cold light appeared in his eyes. "I can feel it. I can feel the aura of the octatic treasure snake. As long as I can obtain the octatic treasure snake, I can guarantee that my strength will increase again. Perhaps I can use it to break through and become a true half-saint." This purple-robed young man was the young man that Lin Xian had met on the Langistar. His name was Zi Yuhao. He was ranked 10th on the Abyss leaderboard. He was a powerful young genius and also a half-saint. The target he was looking for was a kind of exotic beast called the octatic treasure snake. It was already extinct and only very few worlds had it. There was one in the elf forest. It seemed that the other party had come for it. He sneered and entered the elf forest with his 2 servants. Chapter 3247. Zi Yuhao led the 2 servants into the elf forest, and soon they encountered danger. However, Zi Yuhao sneered. He was a powerful young genius, and his strength was terrifying. He did not even need to make a move, as the 2 servants beside him could handle it. Just like that, they passed through, outside the elf forest. If they continued forward, they would reach the depths of the elf forest. The aura ahead made Zi Yuhao stop smiling, and his expression became a little solemn. The 2 servants beside him were on high alert as if they were facing a great enemy. Soon, they entered the depths of the elf forest. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, one of the servants suddenly let out a miserable shriek. His body was pierced by a branch, and the branch carried a terrifying power, sucking his blood dry. "Master, save me." The servant abandoned his physical body, and his soul floated out, screaming in the sky. Not good. The other servant's pupils constricted. It was too terrifying. He also activated his domain and covered his body. The armor on his body shone with a piercing cold light. In the next moment, he was sent flying, and he vomited a large mouthful of blood. He was attacked as well. Zi Yuhao sneered. "A mere tree demon dares to be arrogant in front of me?" He pulled out a short saber and waved it out. The purple short saber swayed, carrying with it a terrifying fragment of the law. The saber slashed out, and all the branches in the surroundings were cut into pieces. With more than 10 slashes, the terrifying tree demon was sent running away. The 2 servants heaved a sigh of relief. The soul in the sky entered the body, absorbing the power of heaven and earth, and recovered again. "Thank you, Master, for your help." The servant knelt on the ground, very respectful. The other servant also had a face full of admiration. Master's strength was extremely strong, and he could sweep through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. A mere elf forest could not do anything to him. Zi Yuhao snorted. "Of course, let's go." He strode forward, and the 2 servants followed closely behind. After walking for about an hour, Zi Yuhao frowned. He felt as if he was being stared at by a mysterious pair of eyes. He snorted, and countless saber lights rushed out from his body, carrying with them a terrifying phantom of the law and slashed in all directions. Even the void was torn apart. "Master, there is a corpse in front." A servant pointed at the bones in front and exclaimed. Zi Yuhao frowned as well. Half-saints' corpses. Half-saints had fallen here, and there was more than one. Just as they were about to step forward to investigate, the servant on the left suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. His expression became incomparably strange as he frantically attacked. "Humph!" Zi Yuhao snorted coldly. His body shook, and the purple light on his body formed a barrier. Does he not know what happened to his servant? But how could a mere power that was close to the Tao resist? He really overestimated himself. However, in the next moment he made a light sound. That was because he discovered that his servant's attack had actually pierced through the light he had shot out. Get lost. This was no longer a power that was close to the Tao, and it was enough to threaten him. Zi Yuhao shouted coldly. With a wave of his sleeve, a terrifying energy blasted out along with a storm. It was as if it could tear the entire world apart. Pum! The servant was sent flying. His body was torn apart, but he quickly reassembled. His face turned incomparably green, and his body emitted a green light. Damn it, what's going on? Zi Yuhao tightly frowned. However, at that moment, the other servant beside him also became incomparably strange. Both of them underwent a strange change and attacked him. A purple short blade appeared in Zi Yuhao's hand. He slashed out, and the two servants were cut in half. However, the state of the two servants at that moment was very strange. They seemed to have endless vitality. Although their bodies were shattered, they reassembled and quickly charged forward. Damn it! Zi Yuhao roared angrily and fought with them. In the end, although he killed the two servants, his expression was very ugly. He had consumed a lot of energy in this battle because the other party was too difficult to kill. In the end, he discovered a green ghost face on the souls of the two servants, which made his heart beat wildly. What was that thing? He did not know, but he knew that there should be a terrifying existence inside. Damn it, I don't want to provoke that thing. I have to quickly find the octatic treasure snake and leave quickly. He was no longer as calm as when he came. Before he came, he thought that he was a top heavenly sect, a young half-step saint who could suppress everything. A mere elf forest was nothing in his eyes. But now he realized that he was wrong. This place was really terrifying. He estimated that he was not a match for it at all. Fortunately, he did not encounter the other party's main body. He only exchanged blows with the other party from a distance. Thinking of that, Zi Yuhao turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the forest. In the forest, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon continued on their way. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. Fortunately, he had the great dragon sword soul. His sword qi was abnormally sharp and could destroy everything. That was why he could easily kill that monster. Otherwise, if it was another half-step saint, it might be very troublesome, or even lose their lives. Suddenly, the aura in front of them became cold, and the surrounding plants also turned dark green. Most of them were poisonous. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were especially careful. However, at that moment, Whitey cheered. "Yeah, I seem to have sensed something delicious. Oh, a natural treasure." Lin Xian activated the heavenly secret divine eye and looked in all directions. Soon he was stunned. Through the heavenly secret divine eye, he saw a cold pond tens of thousands of miles away. That cold pond was emitting a terrifying cold aura. However, Lin Xian's attention was not on the cold pond, but around it. There was a plant. It shone brilliantly, and there was a fruit on it. It was like a dancing snake. It was a snake essence fruit, and it seemed to be a 10,000 years snake essence fruit. Lin Xian hurriedly recounted what he had seen. The Crimson Divine Dragon took a deep breath after hearing what he had said. The little white monkey squinted its big eyes. It was indeed delicious. This little guy is really a foodie. Let's go. Lin Xian smiled and waved his hand. They quickly rushed over. Lin Xian had never seen a 10,000 years spiritual herb before. However, he saw one in the elf forest this time. He did not expect to see another one now. How could he give up? He must get the snake essence fruit. Soon, they crossed tens of thousands of miles and arrived near the cold pond. Their eyes were all on the snake essence fruit. Whitey ran to the front and stretched out its furry paws, wanting to pick the snake essence fruit. However, at that moment, there was a change in the cold pond. An extremely sinister beam of light with terrifying power pierced through the void and shot toward the little white monkey. Whitey turned into a white light and dodged quickly. However, it did not have the chance to pick the 10,000 years snake essence fruit. Aya, so angry. Whitey was fuming. Lin Xian furrowed his brows as he shifted his gaze from the 10,000 year snake spirit fruit to the cold pond beside him. Could it be that there was something in the cold pond? Chapter 3248. The Crimson Dragon looked over and said, "Kid, I can sense an aura. It seems that there is a demonic beast inside." "Is there a demonic beast?" Lin Xian frowned. Then he sneered and raised his hand. Dozens of sword chi rushed in. Instantly, the cold pond was pierced through, and an angry roar came from inside. Then, countless cold pond water danced, turning into water pillars that pierced through the void. They were like waves crashing in all directions. From the water pillars that filled the sky, a huge creature rushed out. This was a huge snake. It was very huge, at least 1,000 feet long. Its body carried a monstrous, cold, baleful aura. Its huge head emitted a cold light. Not only that, what was even stranger was that on the snake's body, there were 8 eyes that flickered. What kind of demonic beast was this? So strange. Lin Xian looked at the 8 strange eyes and frowned. Those 8 eyes were incomparably blood-red and looked very strange. With a glance, it was as if they could pierce through one's soul. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Sword light soared from his body, cutting off this terrifying connection. At the side, the Crimson Dragon screamed. "Octatic treasure snake." There was actually an octatic treasure snake here. Octatic treasure snake, what was that? Lin Xian asked. The Crimson Dragon said, "Ancient mutated beasts were extremely terrifying. It was just that they didn't expect to encounter one here. One had to know that the octatic treasure snake had been extinct for a long time. Some worlds basically didn't have it. They didn't expect that there would actually be one in this elf forest. What a pleasant surprise. Kid, this octatic treasure snake is useful to me. I must kill it." The Crimson Dragon's eyes lit up. "Okay." Lin Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, the terrifying fragments of the law of water returned. Instantly, the surrounding cold pond was controlled. The power of the law rushed into the void. In an instant, the surrounding pond water transformed into chains that rushed over, instantly enveloping the huge body of the octatic treasure snake. Roar! The octatic treasure snake roared towards the sky. "Damn human, you actually dare to attack me? Damn it." He opened his mouth and spat out a blue breath. It was like a wave, but also like a bolt of lightning. It instantly streaked across the sky and charged towards Lin Xian. Boom! Seeing the other party charging at him, Lin Xian raised his fist and punched out. At this moment, he was like the god of fire. His fist carried a terrifying flame energy as he rushed out. In an instant, the blue aura was shattered. Lin Xian roared and soared into the sky. "Despicable human! You actually dare to disturb my rest. Go to hell!" The octatic treasure snake roared angrily, its enormous body swaying. The chains formed by the frigid pond's water were instantly shattered. He let out a roar as his figure was teleported toward Lin Xian. With a loud bang, Lin Xian kicked out and collided with his opponent. In the next moment, Lin Xian was sent flying. The octatic treasure snake was also sent flying, its massive body crashing into the ground, crushing a large area of the forest. 1,000,000 miles of cracks appeared on the ground. Damn it! The octatic treasure snake roared toward the sky. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. What a powerful physique! It actually wasn't damaged at all. At the same time, he was surprised. The other party's strength was also very powerful. It was actually able to send him flying. Brat, be careful. The octatic treasure snake isn't simple. At the side, the crimson dragon reminded him and also flew over. When it saw the crimson dragon, a cold smile appeared in the octatic treasure snake's huge eyes. Damn snake, you actually dare to make a move against your ancestor. Pui f *ck your grandpa. You snake. The dark rainbow divine dragon was furious. With a roar, its body grew larger and divine light bloomed. Clouds and mist drifted and lightning surrounded it. He transformed into a divine dragon that was 1,000 feet long. A dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. On the other side, the octatic treasure snake was impacted. Its body trembled, but it was soon controlled by him. Its huge eyes shone with a terrifying light. Dragon race, you are actually a dragon. She was truly shocked, but soon she laughed loudly. Ha 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 ha, looks like my luck is really good. I actually encountered a dragon. Moreover, it's a dragon with mediocre strength. That's fine too. After eating you, I might be able to evolve again. Its huge body swayed, and it threw itself towards the crimson dragon. The crimson dragon waved its dragon claws, bringing with it a thunderstorm to contend against it. The two huge monsters began to fight. The forest within 1,000,000 miles continuously collapsed, and the void shattered. It was a scene of destruction. The commotion here attracted a figure in the distance. In the distant forest, Zi Yuhao's expression was grave. He had searched for so long, but he still hadn't seen the octatic treasure snake. This made him a little angry. Could it be that the news was wrong? But that shouldn't be. How could the news from the Langius star be wrong? It should be in this forest. However, this forest was too huge. It covered the entire world. He couldn't find it at all in a short period of time, and he didn't want to stay in the depths of this forest for a long time. After all, what had happened before had left him with lingering fear. However, just as he was feeling anxious, suddenly a violent vibration came from the distance. There was even a terrifying roar. That sound caused the blood in his body to boil. What a terrifying aura! Could it be the octatic treasure snake? Thinking of this, Zi Yuhao was incomparably excited. He turned into a stream of light, tore through the void, and quickly flew in the direction of the sound. He flew all the way and finally saw a huge monster with 8 blood-red eyes on its back that flickered with a demonic light. Octatic treasure snake. That's right, it was indeed the octatic treasure snake. This was great, he had finally found it. Zi Yuhao was incomparably excited, but soon he frowned because the octatic treasure snake was fighting, and it seemed that the other party was also very powerful. He looked to the other side and his pupils constricted. He was extremely shocked. It was actually a divine dragon bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws. It soared through the clouds and spewed out lightning that filled the sky as if it was a heavenly tribulation. Could it be a dragon? He wondered if it was a native dragon of the elven planet or a powerhouse from the dragon race that had descended here. Could it be that his target was also the octatic treasure snake? Zi Yuhao furrowed his brows. This was not good news for him. His expression was cold as he looked around again. Soon he was stunned again. He noticed that there was a figure standing next to the two behemoths. It was a handsome man in a red robe. On his shoulder was a white monkey that looked like a fur ball. It's him, Zi Yuhao quickly exclaimed in a low voice. He recognized it. He had seen this man in red before. He had seen him twice on the Langya planet. He didn't expect that the other party would also come here. Could it be that the other party was in cahoots with this dragon? The other party's target was also the octatic treasure snake? Thinking of this possibility, Ziyuhao's face turned cold. The octatic treasure snake was very important to him and was even the key to him becoming a saint. He had to obtain it. He would hide first and sneak attack the red-clothed youth below. Then he would hide at the side and watch the battle. When the two beasts were both injured, he would make his move. This way, not only would he be able to obtain the octatic treasure snake, but if he was lucky, he would also be able to kill a dragon. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. Chapter 3249. Ziyuhao's body became fainter and fainter before completely merging into the void and disappearing. At the same time, he pulled out a purple dagger in the dark. In the next moment, he turned into a stream of light and flew downwards like a ghost. As a half-step saint, his speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he arrived below, behind the red-clothed youth. The dagger in his hand carried the power of law as he stabbed forward. Below, Lin Xian stood at the edge of the battlefield and watched the battle. All of his attention was on the battlefield in front of him, because he was really curious about the octatic treasure snake. He didn't know what the 8 eyes on his back were for. Up until now, the magical powers and laws that the octatic treasure snake had used had nothing to do with the 8 eyes. Just as he was thinking, a terrifying force suddenly appeared behind him and stabbed towards him. Damn it! Someone was here. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. In the next moment, he was sent flying by this huge force. "Ha! Kid, you definitely won't survive after being hit by me." Ziyuhao transformed into his human form and sneered. He was a top genius ranked 10th on the Abyss list, and his strength was extremely powerful. Even a veteran half-step saint was not his match, let alone his current strength. With a surprise attack, the other party would definitely be killed with a single slash. "Damn it, it's actually you. You actually dare to attack me?" A cold voice came from the front. Immediately after, a red-robed figure walked over. The other party's red robe was shattered, but it quickly recovered. Lin Xian's red robe was condensed from power, so he wasn't afraid of it being shattered at all. How was this possible? He wasn't injured. Seeing that Lin Xian's aura was strong and there wasn't a single drop of blood, Ziyuhao was stunned. Could it be that the other party was wearing a half-step saint artifact battle armor? His expression was ugly, but it shouldn't be. Even if he was wearing battle armor, this attack could cause the other party to suffer internal injuries. It seemed that the other party should have forcefully suppressed the injuries in his body. Thinking of this, he sneered. "Kid, I didn't expect you to have a top-grade artifact to protect yourself. You're really lucky, but unfortunately you met me. Now obediently accept your death, and I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, your fate will be very miserable." Ziyuhao snorted coldly as an extremely cold aura emanated from his body. Even though he didn't die from this attack, so what? Even if he were to fight his opponent head-on, he would still be able to kill his opponent. The sneak attack just now was just to kill him in one blow and not cause any unnecessary trouble. To tell you the truth, I'm ranked 10th on the Abyss leaderboard, Ziyuhao. You should have heard of my name, right? Kneel down and accept your death. Ziyuhao shouted, announcing his name and identity in order to intimidate the other party. After all, with the Abyss ranking and purple names, which one of them wasn't a world-shaking, peerless powerhouse? If the other party heard this, he would be scared witless. 10th on the Abyss leaderboard? When Lin Xian heard this, he frowned. Seeing Lin Xian's strange expression, Ziyuhao sneered. "Brat, are you afraid? If you are, then obediently accept your death." In his opinion, no one would not be afraid of him, unless they were ranked higher than him. However, there were only a few people ranked higher than him, and he knew most of them. What's more, the aura of those ranked higher than him was terrifying. He could probably recognize them at a glance. Even Lu Mu and Yan Nantian had to retreat in front of me, let alone you. Lin Xian snorted coldly with a hint of disdain in his eyes. What heard this? Zi Yuhao, who was in front of him, was stunned. He knew Lu Mu and Yan Nantian. He knew Lu Mu, who was ranked one place higher than him, ranked 9th. Although he had never seen Yan Nantian, he had heard that the other party was the successor of a great emperor, and his strength and talent were very strong. And it was said that he was ranked 4th this time. He had completely surpassed him. In fact, if he calculated it this way, his ranking should not be 10th but 11th. Lu Mu and Yan Nantian were both relatively powerful existences. But what did the other party say? These two people retreated in front of the other party? What a joke! Brat, you really know how to talk big. If it were an ordinary person, they might really be scared by you. But if you want to lie to me, there is no possibility at all. Who do you think you are to be able to beat Lu Mu and Yan Nantian? What a joke! Zi Yuhao did not believe it at all. You don't believe it, right? It doesn't matter. I will beat you until you believe it. Lin Xian snorted coldly and quickly rushed to the left. Damn, brat, I was careless just now. Now I will take it seriously. You are definitely no match for me. Zi Yuhao snorted and took a step forward. The aura on his body suddenly burst out, and a terrifying power filled the entire space. At this moment, he seemed to have really turned into a peerless god of war. The short knife in his hand slashed out crazily again. However, this time, Lin Xian's expression was also incomparably dignified. He raised a palm and moved it forward. Suddenly, the sky fell and the earth cracked. This palm was like the palm of a deity. It covered the entire space, and the purple aura was crushed continuously. Zi Yuhao's attack was also quickly split apart under this palm. Not good. Zi Yuhao's expression changed greatly. He felt that the other party's palm was like a 5-fingered mountain with a terrifying power that could suppress him. If it were an ordinary sage to be, he would probably dodge quickly. But he was ranked 10th on the ranking list. How could he dodge? His glory did not allow him to dodge. With a roar, Zi Yuhao held the short knife and faced the attack. The entire space collapsed quickly. Purple aura surged, and a terrifying knife, light, soared into the sky again. It was as if the knife god was roaring. Lin Xian's palm fell mercilessly, bringing with it the law of fire fragments and mysterious runes. Boom! The entire space shook violently. Zi Yuhao was enveloped by this palm. The short knife in his hand was sent flying. Not only that, his body was directly slapped to the ground by this palm. Boom! 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 The ground continued to shatter, and a huge abyss appeared. Zi Yuhao's body fell into the ground. Lin Xian sneered. So what if he was ranked 10th in the abyss? In front of him, he was still sent flying by a palm. Damn it! How could this guy be so terrifying? In the distance, the octatic treasure snake, who was fighting with the crimson dragon, felt the power of this palm, and its expression changed. He could feel that not only was the power of the law of fire fragments powerful, but this palm was more of the power of the physical body. This guy's physique was actually so strong. He was simply a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus. The octatic treasure snake frowned. If Lin Xian attacked and joined forces with the Crimson Dragon, then he would really be in danger. Thinking of this, he roared angrily and attacked crazily. The Crimson Dragon also used the dragon race's great mystique to suppress the other party. Chapter 3250. Boom! On the other side of the ground, a human figure rushed out. It was Zi Yuhao. At this moment, Zi Yuhao's entire body was charred black, and he looked extremely miserable. To be honest, he was still dumbfounded because he did not dare to believe that his opponent could suppress him with a single slap. How was this possible? Who was his opponent? How could he be so much stronger than him? Damn it! Careless! I must have been careless. Zi Yuhao's expression was extremely ugly. Purple demon, heaven-shaking steps. Zi Yuhao roared, and the aura on his body erupted. He took a step forward, and a mysterious power appeared in the void, causing the entire world to shake. Lin Xian instantly felt that he was enveloped by a mysterious power, and his body trembled slightly. The most frightening thing was that his heart was trembling violently, as if this step was going to crush his heart. Not only him, but the Crimson Dragon and the 8-treasure snake, who were fighting at the side, also felt it. However, the two of them only felt the aftermath of the energy, and Lin Xian bore the brunt of it. "Kid, be careful. This guy is very strange," the Crimson Dragon, who was fighting in the distance, quickly warned. The 8-treasure snake was also shocked. Damn it, another human expert had come. However, from the looks of it, these two human experts were fighting at this moment. It would be best if both of them were injured and died together, and he only needed to kill the dragon in front of him. "Kid, your physique is strong, but what about your internal organs? I don't believe that you can withstand my steps." Zi Yuhao's hair was disheveled, and his body was covered in blood. He was really angry. Therefore, this time, he would not let his opponent off. He took a few more steps, and immediately, Lin Xian's heart rang like a bell. Zi Yuhao's lips curled into a smile. This was a great ability. Coupled with his law fragments, its power was boundless. His steps could shatter someone's heart from a distance. His opponent's physique was strong, but his opponent's heart would definitely not be able to withstand it. Lin Xian also frowned. What a strange ability. It could actually affect his heartbeat. Indeed, if it was any other half-saint, their hearts would have been split open, and they would have vomited blood and died. However, he was different. Harumphing coldly, Zhang Xian drove the great dragon sword soul within his body, and a surge of sword intent tore apart the fearsome attack. Lin Xian's heart calmed down again. "I have to say, your divine art is very unique, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on me." Lin Xian was expressionless. "Damn it, how is this possible?" Zi Yuhao's eyes widened in disbelief. Even a veteran half-saint would be injured by his footwork. A weaker half-saint would directly explode and die. But what about the other party? The other party was completely fine. This was simply too unbelievable. Who the hell was this kid? While he was puzzled, Lin Xian understood. "Since you've used up your sacred art, then you should have a taste of my sacred art." He stomped his foot and charged forward like a god of war. He formed a seal with his palm, and the image of a mountain appeared. It was a giant flaming mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall and covered in terrifying laws and flames. As the palm fell, a mountain of flames descended from the sky, as if it wanted to suppress the other party into a bloody mist. Not good. What a terrifying power. Zi Yuhao's face became extremely ugly. He could only wave the short knife in his hand to block. However, after 10 moves, Zi Yuhao's body exploded, turning into a bloody mist. The half-saint blood filled the air and pierced through the void. Soon his body reassembled. His face was extremely pale, but as soon as he reassembled, he was split apart by a sword. At this moment, his entire body was numb. The sword chi that split him was too cold. His body could not completely heal. Although it was reassembled, if one looked carefully, they would find cracks and a vacuum. "Who are you? Who the hell are you?" Zi Yuhao screamed crazily. He was about to despair. The other party was too powerful and had completely surpassed him. Suddenly, he remembered what the other party had said before. Lu Mu and Yan Nantian had to retreat when they saw him. Damn it, could it be that this guy is also a top expert on the ranking list? "Who are you? Could it be that you are Zhao Wuliang?" He screamed crazily. No, Zhao Wuliang was about the same as Yan Nantian. He couldn't go down Yan Nantian. "Could it be that you are Long Zhaotian?" Long Zhaotian was ranked second. If it was really him, then it might make sense. Moreover, it was rumored that Long Zhaotian was also related to the Dragon Clan. The kid in front of him had a dragon by his side, so he was more and more convinced that the other party was Long Zhaotian. God! He had provoked the other party. Long Zhaotian was ranked second on the ranking list, second only to Di Ling. Thinking of this, Ziyu Hao trembled for a while. What Long Zhaotian? I am Lin Wuti. Lin Xian snorted coldly, his eyes bursting with a biting cold light. Not Long Zhaotian. Ziyu Hao was stunned. Why was the name Lin Wuti so unfamiliar? No, he seemed to have heard of it. Where had he heard of it? Ziyu Hao's brain was working very fast. Suddenly his body trembled and he almost knelt on the ground. It was his Lin Wuti. Recently, on the ancient starry sky road, a piece of news swept like a storm. There was a new change in the Abyss ranking list. A newcomer had climbed to the top, ranked first, and tied with Di Ling. He remembered that person's name. It seemed to be Lin Wuti. Ziyu Hao's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. He had provoked the Abyss, ranking first. And he was still arrogant in front of the other party? He wished he could slap himself to death. So it was Lin Gongzi. I had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I offended Lin Gongzi. I hope Lin Gongzi can forgive me. How about this? I don't want the octatic treasure snake anymore. When I fought with Lin Gongzi before, I will also take out a certain amount of heaven and earth treasures as compensation. Lin Gongzi, please spare my life. Ziyu Hao hurriedly begged for mercy. He had no choice but to lower his head. Otherwise, with the other party's strength, it would be very easy to kill him. When the octatic treasure snake sensed the scene, it was extremely shocked. Its huge eyes flickered with a trace of shock. What was going on? One of the humans was begging for mercy. This was impossible. He sensed that the purple-clothed youth who came later was very terrifying and had a monstrous aura. But now, such a person was actually begging for mercy. Could it be that this red-clothed youth was even more terrifying? Thinking of this, his face became incomparably gloomy. Damn it, when did such a terrifying existence come to their elf forest? Could it be that he was here specifically for it? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't say anything, but in the next moment his expression changed. Sword energy soared into the sky and instantly enveloped him. At the same time he said, "Ruzalong, retreat quickly." Just as he finished speaking, the sky collapsed. Green light streaked across, and countless ghost faces charged towards them. The crimson dragon was reminded and instantly roared, its dragon blood surging. The lightning around him formed a lightning tribulation that instantly enveloped him. Chapter 3251. Lightning was the bane of evil beings. It should be able to block the ghost face. Sure enough, when the green ghost face landed on Lin Xian's sword energy and the crimson dragon's lightning, it emitted a sizzling sound. It was mercilessly destroyed and pierced through. On the other side, the octatic treasure snake also spat out a terrifying poison to resist. Ziyu Hao also tried to block, but he was still a step too slow. Among the 4 people present, he was the weakest. In an instant, he was enveloped by the ghost face. In an instant, the green face entered his body. Ziyu Hao struggled, his expression becoming ferocious. The light in his eyes disappeared, replaced by a wisp of green light. Ziyu Hao was controlled, becoming a puppet. "Damn it, it's you!" The octatic treasure snake screamed crazily, its voice piercing through the clouds. It was that thing again. Lin Xian had seen it before. However, at the same time they were even more shocked. Could it be that the octatic treasure snake knew him? Humph! Seeing this immortal descend, "You still don't kneel to pay your respects?" A faintly discernible voice was heard from the void. It was Ziyu Hao's voice. At this moment, Ziyu Hao's entire body was surrounded by green light. He was no longer the young prodigy from before. Clearly, he had been possessed by something. "Damn it, you still don't want to give up." The octatic treasure snake looked as if it was facing a great enemy. Its body was surrounded by laws. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon frowned. The Crimson Dragon even snorted coldly. What immortal? In this world, there was no such thing as an immortal. That was indeed the case. Even great emperors could not become immortals. So how could there be a true immortal? It was only a legend and a wish of people. Ignorant ant, how could you know of this immortal's existence? The mutated Zi Yuhao snorted coldly. Green light appeared in his eyes. It streaked across the Crimson Dragon's body, and then stared at the octatic treasure snake. What do you think of what I said? The octatic treasure snake's expression was gloomy. Humph, you dare to threaten me with just a clone? You want me to be your clone? No way. It seems that you really don't know life from death. If it wasn't for the Eye of Time maturing, do you think you would be alive now? What was the Eye of Time? Lin Xian was puzzled. The Crimson Dragon's pupils shrank. Could it be that the legend was true? He stared at the octatic treasure snake, his face full of shock. The octatic treasure snake's expression was gloomy and cold. If it was your true body that came, then maybe you could succeed. But a mere clone, do you think you can do anything to me? Don't even think about getting my Eye of Time in this lifetime. As for your main body, you probably won't be able to come out for the rest of your life. What a mortal! He was just a body of energy trapped by someone else. What was going on? Lin Xian asked with a frown. Before the Crimson Dragon could speak, the mutated Zi Yuhao's gaze shrouded the two of them. And two more ants. Fine, I'll kill the two of them first, then I'll slowly play with you. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and the monstrous light turned into a storm, sweeping towards Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. Ruse along, dragon. You continue to fight the octatic treasure snake. Leave this fellow to me. Lin Xian soared into the sky. Sword light revolved around his body, making him look like a sword immortal. Seeing this scene, the Crimson Dragon turned his head and stared at the octatic treasure snake. A trace of disdain appeared in the octatic treasure snake's eyes. What an idiot. He actually dared to fight against such an existence? In truth, he didn't dare to fight against the other party. If it wasn't for the fact that the other party's main body couldn't come out, he would have run away long ago. Now, Lin Xian actually wanted to fight against such an existence. In his opinion, he would probably be instantly killed. The mutated Zi Yuhao sneered in disdain. A mere human and dares to be arrogant in front of me. With a wave of his hand, a green seal appeared, instantly enveloping Lin Xian. With a boom, Lin Xian was sent flying. Seeing this scene, Zi Yuhao coldly snorted. An ant had been dealt with. Next was another one. He blocked the Crimson Dragon. Just as he was about to move, a voice came from below. Just this bit of strength? It's only Essa. Someone like you dares to call yourself an immortal? Hey, you didn't die? The mutated Zi Yuhao turned his head, revealing a trace of surprise. Below, Lin Xian flew over. His robes fluttered, but he wasn't injured at all. Interesting. It seems that your physique isn't bad. You're relatively strong, even among half-saints. You were actually able to block my attack and come out unscathed. However, do you think that you can contend against me like this? You really don't know the meaning of death. As he spoke, he waved his hand. Immediately, 3 seals covered the sky and covered the earth. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The metal law formed a sword of light, slashing down from the sky. With a poochie sound, the 3 seals were split apart. Not only that, the sword of law even split apart the other party's body. Great, it split apart. Lin Xian smiled. However, the broken body on the other side quickly reassembled and reappeared in front of him. Useless. I'm an unkillable existence. I'm a high and mighty immortal. You're no match for me at all. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xian instantly slashed out 10,000 rays of sword qi, turning the other party into a bloody mist. However, The bloody mist quickly reassembled. The other party had a condescending look as he watched the scene with a sneer. Just like that, the other party's body was broken more than 10 times. However, each time it quickly reassembled. This made Lin Xian frown. The Crimson Dragon also exclaimed, "This was impossible." Even a half-saint would be injured if his body was continuously broken. Wouldn't his vitality be greatly damaged? How could the other party be unscathed? Ha ha ha, I've said it before. I'm an immortal existence. The mutated Zi Yuhao didn't attack at all. He floated there, allowing Lin Xian to attack him. Every time he was broken, his body would reassemble. This scene made people despair. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. An immortal existence? How could this be? How could there be an immortal in this world? Even a great emperor couldn't survive the passage of time. However, the other party's current appearance was indeed surprising. Could it be that he had an immortal bloodline? He knew that there were many miraculous physiques in the universe. For example, he and the sage physique were the type with strong physiques and powerful strength. There was also the Tao physique, which was born with the Tao and could use the law to great effect. There was also the spirit physique, which could increase one's cultivation in an instant. Of course, there was also an immortal body. That was, the other party's recovery ability was amazing. No matter how serious the injury, it could be healed instantly. Lin Xian guessed that the other party might have such a physique. Of course, there was another possibility, which was that the other party's recovery ability was super strong. It wasn't because of the bloodline, but because of the law. For example, the Northern Demon previously had the law of wood. His recovery ability was very shocking and terrifying. Now, he also had the law of wood fragment. Coupled with the longevity art, his recovery ability was also super strong. Lin Xian guessed countless possibilities in his heart. Although he didn't know which one it was, it all showed that the other party wasn't an immortal. Since he knew this, he was fearless. Was the other party's recovery ability strong? Then he would beat the other party until he couldn't recover. A cold look appeared in his eyes. The great dragon, sword soul in his body, instantly roared and circulated. If it were other half-saints, they might be helpless. However, he was different. Chapter 3252. He had the great dragon's sword soul. Buzz. Lin Xian once again formed the sword of law and poured the power of the great dragon's sword soul into it. On the opposite side, the mutated Zi Yuhao sneered when he saw that Lin Xian wanted to attack again. It's useless. Even if you do it 1,000 times or even 10,000 times, you won't be able to hurt me. His actions towards Lin Xian were filled with disdain. He was disdainful. However, in the next moment, his face changed. He discovered that this time around his shattered body was actually unable to heal. Between his body and his body, there were small cracks that separated Yi's body from the rest of his body. How could this be? It couldn't heal? The mutated Zi Yuhao was stunned. A green light burst out from his eyes as he stared at his body. At the same time, the green light on his body bloomed and completely enveloped him. Whoosh! Finally, he forcefully suppressed the cracks, and his body healed again. However, his face had become a little ugly. In the next moment, he screamed. He saw the other party, slashing his sword, and his body was broken again. Each piece carried a terrifying sword intent, causing him to be unable to heal for a while. Damn it, this is impossible. Who are you? What kind of sword chi is this? Why is it so strange? The mutated Zi Yuhao screamed crazily. He realized that it was very difficult to heal his body again. He had to erase the sword chi on the cracks. The sword chi was very strange and difficult to erase. Therefore, when he healed for the second time, his face had become pale and the green light on his body had dimmed a lot. You're just S.O. What a mortal. In my opinion, you're just a little stronger in terms of life force recovery. Other than that, there's nothing special. Lin Xian looked at this scene and sneered. Previously, His sword Qi contained the power of the great dragon sword soul. That was why it was difficult for the other party's body to heal. If it was a real immortal, this bit of power wouldn't be able to do anything to him. However, it was obvious that it was very difficult for the other party to heal. This meant that the other party wasn't an immortal at all. Perhaps he wasn't even a saint? The other party was at most a half-saint with a strong life force. Other than that, there shouldn't be anything special. If it was another half-saint facing the other party, they might not be able to do anything. However, Lin Xian was indeed the other party's nemesis. Damned brat! The mutated Zi Yuhao's face was ashen. As for the octatic treasure snake, it was extremely shocked. How could this be? He found it hard to believe that the other party was able to restrain the monster. One must know that when he faced that monster, he was only able to suppress it with his overwhelming power. Even so, he was only able to suppress its clone. Furthermore, even if he were to destroy the clone, it would likely not affect the main body that was hidden in the depths. Thus, the octatic treasure snake was not willing to contend against such a monster. In its opinion, no one could truly restrain it. But now, a human kid seemed to have done it. Damn it, kid, go to hell. The mutated Zi Yuhao seemed to have thought of this as well. His opponent's sword Qi was very strange and was a threat to him. He would not allow such a person to exist in this world. Thus, he had to kill him. A sharp cry sounded out as terrifying rays of light shot towards Lin Xian from all directions. They were densely packed and contained terrifying power. Get lost! Lin Xian coldly shouted. Sword Qi erupted from his body, directly piercing through those green ghost faces. Those ghost faces shrieked in the air. As for the mutated Zi Yuhao, his expression was extremely ugly. He was unable to get close to his opponent. It seemed that his opponent's sword Qi could be released in large quantities. This was definitely not a good thing for him. Since he was unable to attack, he could only attack from afar. Ah! He let out a sharp cry. The countless green ghost faces in the air also let out sharp cries. This was a soul attack. He wanted to use soul attacks to directly destroy his opponent's soul from a distance. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He continued to wave the great dragon sword soul. Terrifying dragon-shaped sword Qi swept out in all directions, destroying those soul attacks. Damn it! How is this possible? It could actually destroy soul attacks? The mutated Zi Yuhao was incomparably shocked. To tell the truth, there were very few things in this world that could restrain him. Furthermore, in his opinion, those things had probably long since been lost in the ancient era. How could they possibly exist now? But the current situation made his hair stand on end. Could it be that something had truly appeared that could restrain him? Damn it, eternal annihilation. Zi Yuhao did not continue to attack Lin Xian. Instead, he let out a furious roar and soared into the sky. Energy rapidly surged from his body. The terrifying energy grew larger and larger, enveloping an area of hundreds of thousands of miles. Not good. Seeing this scene, the octatic treasure snake was frightened out of its wits. It quickly fled back into the cold pond. Lin Xian also frowned. The crimson dragon cried out in alarm. Damn it, this fellow wanted to self-destruct. Did he not want to live anymore? Lin Xian's expression was grave. This should only be a clone. Even if it died, the main body probably wouldn't be able to cause much damage. However, the power of this self-destruction was too terrifying. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He did not plan on letting his opponent self-destruct. He had to stop him. With a bang, the great dragon sword soul crazily roared. In Lin Xian's hand, a sword of light condensed. All sorts of laws gathered on it, and he slashed it forward. At the same time, the mass of green energy above him suddenly exploded. Everything within a radius of 10 million miles was completely enveloped. Not good. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. The crimson dragon also let out a sharp cry. This was already equivalent to a half-saint self-destructing. Moreover, it had absorbed enough energy to self-destruct. The power was too terrifying. The sword of light in Lin Xian's hand instantly transformed into the shape of a dragon. He roared, "Ruzalong, hurry up and help me pour energy into it." The crimson dragon poured all its energy into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian let out a long roar. He poured all his energy into the great dragon's sword soul. Then he slashed it forward. Boom! Everything within a radius of 10 million miles was completely destroyed. Countless forests collapsed and the void shattered. It was a scene of apocalypse. Lin Xian and the others were crazily swallowed by this energy. After a very long time, the terrifying energy gradually faded and disappeared. In the void, 2 figures fell, and they spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. Damn, this energy was too terrifying. Why did it feel like a saint self-destructing? The crimson dragon's body was charred black. Dragon blood dripped down, and it grimaced in pain. Many cracks also appeared on Lin Xian's body. He circulated the law of wood and the longevity's secret art. At the same time, he swallowed heavenly treasures. The cracks on his body were quickly healing. With the strength of the 9-yang divine body, he survived. At the same time, his eyes were filled with a hint of seriousness. It was too terrifying. Fortunately, he used the great dragon sword soul to split open the most important energy. Otherwise, that mass of energy would have definitely been a threat to him. No half-saint would have been able to survive. Damn, what the hell was that? The other party's clone was already so powerful. Why was the other party's life so strong? Lin Xian frowned. Chapter 3253. The Crimson Dragon looked around. Endless primal chaos had appeared around them, and the cold pool had long disappeared. The octatic treasure snake couldn't have been blasted into a bloody mist, right? Could it be that there was no residue left? The crimson dragon was stunned. Then he cursed loudly. Damn it, that was Bin Huang's favorite prey. Forget it. There are many treasures in this elven forest. At most, we'll look for other natural treasures. Lin Xian originally wanted to comfort the crimson dragon, but he still glanced around. Suddenly, he was slightly stunned. In the next moment, he activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and stared below. There was originally a terrifying 10,000-year-old cold pool there. However, at this moment, the cold pool had long been reduced to ashes by that energy. In the endless pit, there was a huge monster. It was the octatic treasure snake. At this moment, the octatic treasure snake was torn into pieces. Blood and internal organs flowed all over the ground. It couldn't be any more dead. Even its soul had been destroyed by this energy. This shocked Lin Xian again. It seemed that it was really dangerous. Those below the saint realm probably couldn't survive at all. In fact, even saints would be injured in this energy. Fortunately, he had the great dragon sword soul to cut through everything. But soon, Lin Xian was stunned again. What was this? He saw a shocking scene. Buzz! With a wave of his hand, an endless storm rushed out and wiped out the primal chaos below. Then, the octatic treasure snake's corpse was revealed. The crimson dragon also saw it. He cried out in surprise. Great, he finally found it. He wanted to put away the octatic treasure snake's corpse, but in the next moment he was also stunned. His eyes were wide open in disbelief. Below, the octatic treasure snake's corpse was torn into pieces. On the corpse, there was a scarlet eye that slowly rotated. Inside, extremely terrifying patterns appeared. It was incomparably mysterious. With Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon's current understanding, they couldn't see it clearly at all. However, although they couldn't understand the patterns, they saw a shocking scene. The octatic treasure snake's originally shattered body quickly reassembled. In the next moment, his body trembled and a cold light erupted from his eyes. The aura on his body suddenly erupted. What's going on? He's alive? How could this be? Didn't he die before? That's not right. Lin Xian could clearly sense that the other party's soul had already been destroyed. One had to know that if one's physical body was destroyed, one could still be reborn with a drop of blood. If one's soul was injured, one could also use a remnant soul to recover. However, if one's soul was completely destroyed, one would be dead beyond words. In such a situation, even a saint would not be able to revive. But why would this octadic treasure snake come back to life? Could it be related to the red eyes? He stared at the 8 eyes on the octadic treasure snake's back. One of the eyes slowly closed. It was the eye with the mysterious runes flowing around it earlier. It was already completely closed. Now, only the 7 eyes were shining. It was still scarlet red like a ruby. What was going on? The crimson dragon looked as if he had seen a ghost. Damn it, could it be that the legend was true? Impossible. Could there really be such a magical ability? Rizalong, what do you know? Lin Xian asked from the side. He felt that the crimson dragon should know something about the situation. The crimson dragon took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "The Eye of Time. The Eye of Time, what was that?" Lin Xian was curious. It wasn't the first time he heard about it. The green monster from before seemed to have its eyes on the Eye of Time. Could it be? Was it the 8 eyes on the octadic treasure snake's back? The octadic treasure snake was an ancient beast. It was rumored that the 8 eyes on its back possessed the mysterious power of time. The power of time. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Time was the most mysterious thing. Ordinary people couldn't grasp it at all. Even great emperors might not be able to grasp this power. However, the octadic treasure snake actually had such strange eyes. Could it grasp this power? Time was indeed the most mysterious thing. As an ancient beast, the octadic treasure snake's 8 eyes were known as the Eye of Time. They could make time flow back to the past. However, each of these 8 eyes could only be used once. Just like before, although the octadic treasure snake was already dead. It used the Eye of Time to reverse the time on its body, returning to the time when it was still alive. In this way, it was equivalent to being reborn once. As for the eye on its back, once this power was used, it would be permanently healed and could no longer be opened. It could still live after dying. This was equivalent to having an extra life. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. The octadic treasure snake had 8 eyes on its back. This was equivalent to having 8 more lives. This was too perverted, wasn't it? This was simply an undying existence. That's right, it was indeed equivalent to having 8 lives. However, this power also attracted the attention of powerhouses. Countless years ago, the octadic treasure snake was hunted down by a peerless powerhouse and was finally destroyed. In the myriad worlds, there was no longer an octadic treasure snake. He didn't expect to be able to see one here. It seemed that his luck was really good to the extreme to be able to encounter the octadic treasure snake. Could it be that you were eyeing the Eye of Time previously? Was that Zi Yuhao the same as before? Lin Xian asked. The crimson dragon shook its head. No, I was eyeing the octadic treasure snake because of its bloodline. I think that Zi Yuhao was the same. The Eye of Time was too strange. It only existed in legends. In ancient times, the octadic treasure snake had already disappeared, so no one thought that the things that were passed down were true. Just like immortals, they were just legends. Therefore, no one would specially look for the octadic treasure snake for the Eye of Time, right? If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe that the other party really has the Eye of Time and can control the power of time. Humph, it seems that you know quite a lot. Right at this moment, the octadic treasure snake below completely recovered. He raised his huge head and snorted coldly. His cold eyes stared at the crimson dragon and Lin Xian. Since you know that I have the Eye of Time, then hurry up and get lost. It's impossible for you to kill me." Indeed, the other party still had 7 eyes of time, which was equivalent to having 7 lives. He was indeed an existence that was almost immortal. "Boy, do you want to make a move?" the Crimson Dragon asked. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a piercing light. He was definitely going to make a move. Obtaining the Eye of Time was equivalent to obtaining 7 more lives. This was definitely a huge temptation. Not to mention him, those saints would probably go crazy. Even the great emperors would definitely disregard everything and come to kill the Octatic Treasure Snake. Damn it! When the Octatic Treasure Snake heard this, he was instantly enraged. He opened his mouth and spat out poisonous gas that filled the sky. His entire body turned into a ray of light and instantly tore through the void, heading into the distance. Damn it, don't think about running. The Crimson Dragon struck out lightning that filled the sky, shattering the poisonous gas. At the same time, he bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he flew out. Lin Xian also soared into the sky and turned into a ray of sword light. Chapter 3254. He transmitted his voice. "Rusalong, don't kill him. You have to capture him alive. Otherwise, if he uses up the Eye of Time, it would be useless for us to capture him." "I know. But Brat, what do you want to do? Even if we trap him, if he goes crazy and destroys the Eye of Time, we won't be able to obtain it." "I naturally know that. Not only do we have to capture him alive, we can't let him resist at all. Because once he resists, he will be able to activate the Eye of Time. Of course, we can't let him die. Because if that happens, the Eye of Time will be activated. Are you saying that if we don't kill him, we will let his soul live without consciousness?" the Crimson Dragon exclaimed. "Could it be that you want to use eye techniques?" "That's right." Lin Xian nodded. He took a deep breath. "Little White, I will depend on you later." "Yeah, no problem. Just watch me." Little White nodded, looking very confident. Lin Xian and the others increased their speed. The Crimson Dragon directly controlled the laws of clouds and wind, mobilizing the space within millions of miles. It formed a cage around them, blocking their path. The Octatic Treasure Snake went crazy, attacking recklessly. However, it was still blocked for a moment. During this time, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon caught up. Little White, go. Before the Octatic Treasure Snake could react, Little White transformed into a streak of light and instantly disappeared. When it appeared again, it was already in front of the Octatic Treasure Snake. Its furry claws slapped the Octatic Treasure Snake's huge head. "Bzz." The Octatic Treasure Snake fainted. It only lasted for 3 seconds. However, this time was enough for Lin Xian. He could activate his eye technique thousands of times. His palms formed seals as the heavenly secret divine eye activated. A pair of golden eyes appeared above his head. They were incomparably cold like God. The snow-white little monkey's dizziness caused the Octatic Treasure Snake to be unable to resist. The heavenly secret divine eye was mysterious and strange. Under Lin Xian's full power, the Octatic Treasure Snake was unable to block that eye technique. Hence, the Octatic Treasure Snake directly entered an illusion. Lin Xian didn't directly plan a slave imprint because he was afraid that the Octatic Treasure Snake would resist and cause an uncontrollable situation to occur. He let the Octatic Treasure Snake be in the illusion and then slowly guided it, so that he would automatically treat Lin Xian as his master. This process was very slow, but Lin Xian didn't care. Anyway, the other party was in an illusion, and the time inside was not the same as outside. Lin Xian could adjust the environment at will. Next, he let the Crimson Dragon create several formations to completely envelop the opponent. Then, they were sent into the Black Earth. Now that time was tight. Lin Xian had no way to set it up. Once things settled down, he could set up an illusion array and place the Octatic Treasure Snake inside. Or, periodically, He would use his eye technique on the octatic treasure snake. In short, as long as the octatic treasure snake continued to sleep like this, Lin Xian released the octatic treasure snake for the time being and took a deep breath. "Kid, where are we going next?" the Crimson Dragon asked. "To find the mysterious green monster." "Are you going to find that guy?" "No way, it's too risky." "Aren't we going to find the Wood Dao Stone?" "That's right, it was in the hands of that guy." Previously, when Lin Xian used his eye technique on the octatic treasure snake, he had discovered some information from the other party's soul. Among them, it was related to the mysterious green monster. After all, that monster was too terrifying. Even the octatic treasure snake was afraid of it. Therefore, the information about the green monster in the other party's soul was very obvious. Lin Xian instantly captured it. He learned from the information that the green monster had a Wood Dao Stone in its hands. In addition, the other party's origin was mysterious. That was why it had such a vigorous life force and was almost immortal. Since he knew that the Wood Dao Stone was in the other party's hands, Lin Xian had no reason not to go. Moreover, although the other party was powerful, his great dragon sword soul could restrain the other party. Therefore, Lin Xian wasn't afraid of the other party at all. The Wood Dao Stone was actually in the other party's hands. When the Crimson Dragon heard this, it was also extremely surprised. Since that was the case, what were they waiting for? "Let's hurry up and go." Lin Xian and the others quickly flew deeper into the forest. 3 days later, the three of them stopped. Lin Xian frowned. His heavenly secret god eyes looked around. It was right in front of him. Lin Xian said. The Crimson Dragon held its breath, and Whitey also quieted down for a rare moment. Who was it? Lin Xian and the others had already arrived in front of them. They let out a low and hoarse voice. Instantly, countless terrifying rays of light appeared around them. The surrounding trees seemed to come to life and attacked Lin Xian and the others. With a boom, the Crimson Dragon's body swayed. Endless lightning pierced through all the tree demons, forming a vacuum. The ground was scorched black. Lin Xian walked forward. There was no forest blocking the way ahead. There was a ball of green light floating in the air, constantly changing into various forms. "Damn it, it's you. You're not dead." In front of them, the ball of green light let out a sharp roar. It was too shocking. Impossible. The self-destruction of his clone was enough to destroy any half-saint below the saint realm. How could the other party survive? It seemed that you didn't know everything. There were some things that you couldn't know at all. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The other party didn't even know why he was still alive. It must be something. He ignored the other party and looked around. Because of the conversation between the octatic treasure snake and the other party, he knew that the other party's main body seemed to be unable to come out and could only be in the depths. He had to find out why now. Soon he narrowed his eyes because he seemed to have seen through it. The Crimson Dragon also said that there was a peerless formation around them that suppressed everything. It was probably specially targeted at the other party. "We can come in, but I'm afraid the other party can't get out at all." Lin Xian nodded, then raised his head and looked ahead at the green ball of light that was still screaming in shock. "Hand over the Dao Stone of wood that you're in, and I can spare your life." "What? You're here for the Dao Stone of wood?" The green ball of light was stunned for a moment, then it screamed. "Damn brat, you actually dare to have designs on me? How despicable." The green light kept changing and then turned into a green-robed man. The green-robed man's face was pale and his eyes were cold. They were like the eyes of a venomous snake as he stared at Lin Xian. After he appeared, he gave off a powerful aura. "Go to hell." The palm emitted a terrifying aura and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian, wanting to suppress him. Lin Xian sneered. Sword qi surged from his body and poured into the power of the great dragon sword soul. He slashed out and immediately split the other party's palm. "It's useless. I can restrain you. Your attack can't pose any threat to me at all." It's not even difficult for me to kill you. Lin Xian's voice caused the green-robed man's expression to turn incomparably cold. Brat, do you think I'm so easy to kill? You don't understand my methods at all, ignorant ant. Next, I'll let you know the consequences of provoking me. With a flip of his hand, he took out a green bell and poured his power into it. Chapter 3255. Buzz. The green bell began to ring, and a terrifying sound spread in all directions. The crimson dragon's body trembled, and countless cracks appeared on its body. Even Lin Xian's body was the same. Cracks had appeared, but soon Lin Xian roared, and an endless light erupted from his body, repairing it. The crimson dragon screamed, "Damn it, it's so terrifying! How can the two of you be a match for me?" The green-robed man laughed. He would attack the bell in his hand. Suddenly, a terrifying shattering sound came from the void where Lin Xian and the crimson dragon were. Damn it, what kind of weapon is this? Why does it feel like a sacred weapon? The crimson dragon was frightened, and it struck out a sky full of nomological laws to contend with it. Lin Xian's face was gloomy, and a biting cold light erupted from his eyes, enveloping the entire space. Under his eye technique, he could clearly see the traces of every attack. In the face of such a terrifying attack, he did not dodge. In his body, the great dragon sword soul roared, and countless sword chi rushed out, accompanied by the power of nomological laws, slashing forward. Green Lotus 13 swords. 13 sword chi crisscrossed the sky, and terrifying nomological law fragments spread out. A huge flower of sword chi shrouded the entire space, cutting off the void. There was a violent collision in the space, and the green bell's attack all collided with the sword chi lotus. The sword chi lotus also erupted with dazzling sword chi, and the two collided in the air, erupting with an unparalleled light. Buzz. At the same time, the crimson dragon came to the side of the green-robed man, and with a wave of its dragon claws, countless thunderbolts condensed, and a claw penetrated the green-robed man's body. Boom! More than half of the green-robed man's body was shattered, but in an instant, it recovered to its original state. At the same time, he struck out with his palm, forcing the crimson dragon to retreat. It's useless. I've said it before, I'm immortal, and you can't hurt me at all. The green-robed man's eyes were full of disdain. Damn it! What a strong recovery ability! The crimson dragon's face darkened. At this time, Lin Xian said, "Ruzalong, let me attack. You hold him back." Good. Ben Huang knew. The crimson dragon nodded. He knew that Lin Xian's great dragon sword spirit could restrain his opponent. The crimson dragon continued to roll, and the clouds in the sky condensed, bringing with them a terrifying law. They surged forward and even formed a formation around them. It was a wind-thunder array. This formation was mainly used to restrain the enemy. The green-robed man sensed that his surroundings were filled with fog. A formation had enveloped him, cutting off all his escape routes. In fact, the terrifying lightning seemed to want to tear him to pieces. Formations, I hate formations the most. The green-robed man's face was cold, and a terrifying green light rose from his body. It turned into a large green palm and grabbed forward. This palm was very terrifying. With a crushing force, it blasted onto the wind and thunder array. Buzz! The array shook violently and cracks appeared on it. Damn it, this guy's strength is so terrifying, and his research on array formations is so profound. The crimson dragon frowned. He could see that the opponent's palm was not casually thrown out, but directly hit the weak point of his formation. It seemed that the opponent had found the flaw in an instant. This was a formation expert. The crimson dragon was shocked, but he soon understood. This green bubble man must have been studying formations for thousands of years in order to escape. His attainments in formations must be very strong. He guessed right. This green-robed man was trapped here by a peerless formation and wanted to escape for his entire life. Therefore, he had been studying and breaking this formation for countless years. His attainments in formations were terrifying. At this moment, he almost broke the Crimson Dragon's Wind and Thunder Array. However, the Wind and Thunder Array was not the main attack. His goal was to restrain and even confuse his opponent. Buzz! In a corner of the array, a figure rushed over, and a terrifying sword light pierced forward. This person was Lin Xian. At this moment, the sword chi in Lin Xian's hand was revolving, swallowing a terrifying power. In an instant, he was in front of the green-robed man. "Get lost!" The green-robed man shouted coldly. He did not directly resist, but activated the green bell beside him and blasted it forward. It seemed that he wanted to blast Lin Xian away. Boom! The two collided, and a piercing light burst out. The green bell blocked the sword. "Kid, it's useless. You can't hurt me at all." Seeing this, the green-robed man's mouth curled into a sneer. So what if his opponent was powerful? He used a treasure. He did not need to do anything to stop his opponent. Is that so? Do you think you're saved? The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Although his opponent had blocked his sword attack, the distance between them was too close. Could his opponent block all of his sword chi? Boom! The energy in his body burst out, forming a monstrous force that enveloped the area in front of him. The bell was also shaking nonstop, shooting out rays of light that filled the sky in an attempt to block the attack. Although the bell was powerful, Lin Xian's sword chi was even more terrifying. Its attack power was unparalleled. Therefore, although a small part of the sword chi was blocked, there was still a lot of sword chi that pierced through the bell's attack and arrived in front of the green-robed man. The green-robed man was shocked, and his expression turned to one of horror. Cold wind! His sleeves rolled up countless green rays of light, forming a light screen in front of him. However, his light screen was soon pierced through. Not good. The green-robed man's pupils constricted, and his body swayed, turning into an illusion. Lin Xian's sword chi was too much. Although he dodged some, he could not dodge all of them. At this critical moment, the green-robed man could only defend himself again. Boom! He was hit by the countless sword chi and was sent flying. That's great. The Crimson Dragon smiled. The green-robed man was sent flying, but soon he landed on the ground and was bounced back. The surrounding array formation isolated him, making it impossible for him to get out. The green-robed man who was bounced back had his blood boiling, and his expression was ugly. He was actually sent flying by the other party. Damn it! How dare you injure this immortal? This immortal will kill you. The green-robed man walked over, gritting his teeth, and his murderous aura was astonishing. At this moment, the surrounding void quickly shattered. It was obvious that the other party was really angry. Humph! Lin Xian attacked again. In the sky, 36,000 rays of sword chi quickly rushed into the sky, forming a huge sword chi lotus that rotated above Lin Xian's head. Countless light swords flew out from it, piercing through the void, carrying a kind of nomological power. Countless nomological light swords pierced forward, forming a sword domain that once again enveloped the other party. These light swords were too terrifying. They contained the power of the great dragon's sword soul and the power of nomological fragments. They contained the nomological laws of metal and were extremely sharp. They contained the nomological laws of fire and were extremely violent. The nomological laws of earth were heavy and seemed to be able to shatter everything. The nomological laws of water were extremely strange and pervasive. These light swords once again attacked the green-robed man. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.